kick a hole in the speaker, pull the plug, then I jet back to the lab like they did again. The hooligans are taking over. Look at the new slogan, keep on making me hot, and soon the roof's open. The proof is in the potion, the juices are flowing. It's all good when we toasting like 2 cups of Moet. We can take a cruise to the ocean. You can sleep but you'll lose if you snooze. Then I step out the jail. I have to make a move like hooligans stand tall. They stand tall. They stand tall. Hooligans stand tall. They stand tall. They stand tall. We stand tall like a bunch of hooligans, and we came here to win. Gotta make the people understand. We came here to win, and we stand tall. I have to make a move like come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, you can hear me now. Happy freedom, you hooligans. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. All right, hooligans, we're going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we will be checking on all the chats. So let me know how you guys are doing today. Then, of course, we'll be getting everything started. At 6:30 p.m., which is about an hour and 23 minutes from now, President Trump is supposed to be participating in a Kennedy Center board dinner. I don't know what that is, but we're going to try and cover it. Other than that, we'll be starting out with a video titled Leading Expert in Prostate Cancer on Biden's Diagnosis. Apparently, old man Walter's got prostate cancer. They must have missed that during that physical that he took before leaving office when they said he was tip-top. Then we got a video titled Mexican Naval Ship Crashes into the Brooklyn Bridge. It is very similar to the cargo ship that hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge. They somehow lost power and just hit the fucking bridge. Now, in this case, it didn't knock the bridge down, but still, this seems like ignorance to me. Then we got a video titled White House Briefing on Ukraine-Russia Talks, Iran and Biden. This is from the White House press briefing from earlier today. They did it at like 9 a.m. I don't know why they're doing that, because if anybody who needs to listen to the press briefing, it needs to be lefties over on the left coast. But if you do a press briefing at 9 a.m., it's only 5 a.m. on the left coast. So they ain't hearing the message, so they need to do something about that. Then we got a video titled College Students Want Refund, or a college student wants a refund over a professor using ChatGPT. They missed the mark in this whole thing. They're all pissed because they think that it's unfair that the professor gets to use AI, but the students don't get to. What they should be bitching about is they paid for an education that came from ChatGPT. Then we got a video titled Judge Overturns Doge Takeover at U.S. Institute of Peace. We covered it when it happened. Most of us didn't even realize there was an Institute of Peace. But apparently the judge is going to turn it around and, well, have to make Doge forfeit the building. Then we got a video titled GOP Senator Sounds Alarm on China Spying on Americans. Apparently we import 300,000 students using visas from the CCP. But they are required by their government to participate in intelligence gathering. So that's 300,000 spies that we allow to be in the country every year. So that's really nice. Then we got a video titled California Bombing Suspect Ideology, One of the Strangest Ever, says security analyst. Everybody knows there was a large explosion that happened in California. A person detonated their vehicle. I think it was a Ford Fiesta or something like that, but either way, this guy was mad at life. Tried to blow up an IVF building or whatever it is. Either way, they said it was the largest explosion, or the largest bombing in California ever. Then the last little bit of the news is Lefties losing it. This one's titled Curious Timing of Biden's Cancer Diagnosis. It seems we are all suspicious of this. Then we'll be getting into the fun stuff. We'll be opening today's door of the Advent calendar that was sent to us by Tori Wayne. And then we got a feel-good video of the day and a funny video of the day. The feel-good video was provided by Everything Will Be Okay over on X. It's titled The Feeling of Validation. And our official funny video of the day was provided by Stoner, and that one's titled Hooligans as We Get Older. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat and see how you hooligans are doing today. What is up, everyone, over on jeffmaclive.com. What's up, Guest Son? What's up, 10 Man? What's up, Tori Wayne? What's up, Russell? What's up, Damsel? What's up, Silver Wolf? And what's up, Snooks? What's up, Zero? Happy freedom, you hooligans. Appreciate all of you guys being on the website. And what is up, everyone, over on Rumble? I can't tell who was first today because I was late to the chat. But either way, it looks like Rappy was first today. I'm sure you weren't first, but you're first for me. Appreciate you racing to the chat, Rappy. What is up, everybody? What's up, Sly Dog? What's up, MU? What's up, Stoner? What's up, Puff and Stuff? Happy freedom to you. Let me see. Scrolling through. What's up, Tony Rez? Happy freedom. What's up, MU? Appreciate you being here. What's up, Dutton? Happy freedom to you. What's up, H Big? Happy freedom. Make sure we get everybody. What's up, JT3? What's up, Pumpkin? Happy freedom. What's up, Metal Mouth? Appreciate you being here. Let me see. What's up, Turbo? What's up, Trapper? Happy freedom, you hooligans. Go ahead and hit that like button. See if you can get us on Rumble's front page. And what is up, everyone, over on Kick? What's up, Meta? Happy freedom. Let's see. What is up, everyone, over on Twitch? What's up, Tractor? Happy freedom. What's up, C1? Appreciate you being here. And what is up, everyone, over on the communism platform? Cheeky Chops, you were first over here. What's up, Tactical? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Agent O? What's up, Mills? Let me see. Make sure we get everybody. Hair Juicer, happy freedom to you. I think we got everybody. What's up, T-Lawton? What's up, Magic Moon? What's up, MD Cyrun? Matt Rogers, your omnipresent. Appreciate you. And what is up, everyone, over on X? What's up, Bob? Yeah, Bob, you got me. I was muted. Either way, happy freedom to you, Bob. All right, hooligans, we're going to go ahead and get into things because in about an hour and like 17 minutes, President Trump's supposed to be on stage, so we'll see. He's probably going to be a little bit late, as he is, as I am every fucking day, so it'll be okay. Either way, we're going to be starting out with this first video titled Leading Expert in Prostate Cancer on Biden's Diagnosis. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick, we have these Trump was right about everything t-shirts. Now, this design was created by Alistair, and Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will be posting his link in all of the chats for you hooligans to have the opportunity to hire him for your creative needs, because if you think it, he can create it. Now, this design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, dog tags, and we even made long sleeve shirts out of this design. Today I got on the Hooligan 2A t-shirt. We got lots of items and lots of designs over in the merch store. I'll be dropping all the links in the chats while we watch this first video.
Welcome back to Wake Up America. So former President Biden releasing a statement yesterday stating that he has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has already spread to his bones.
The former president will turn 83 in November, and he and his family are reviewing treatment options with physicians at this time, and the former president is resting comfortably in Delaware.
So for more on this, we are joined now by Director of Urologic Oncology at St. Francis Hospital and leading expert in prostate cancer, Dr. David Samadi. Dr. Samadi, good morning. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us. So as we know, he's been diagnosed with what they're calling an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Unfortunately, it has spread to his bones. So what do you make of his diagnosis right now? What can you tell us?
Well, good morning. Good to be with you. Obviously, Gleason score 9. Gleason score is basically a grading system that goes from 2 to 10. 8, 9, and 10 happen to be some of the most aggressive prostate cancers. It's unfortunate that he has metastasis to bone. This is a poor prognosis. It's a very aggressive prostate cancer. And at this point, surgery and radiation probably are not good options. And he's going to go on hormonal treatment, medications like Eligard or Lupron. These medications are not curative, but they slow down the progression of the disease. They slow down the testosterone. Testosterone is what you need, the cancer cells need in order to grow. So by reducing the amount of testosterone, these cancer cells hopefully will slow down. And as long as his cancer is sensitive to these medications, there are people that go on for many years and they live with this. The problem is that sometimes the hormones will become insensitive, they don't work, and unfortunately at that point can become a very difficult situation. The bigger question that's coming up is, how is it that a president of the United States being covered with so many doctors and going through very aggressive screening in 2025 shows up with a Gleason 9 with metastases? And that's very difficult to answer because we don't see this in America like this, especially people like President Biden and many others that are on very extreme surveillance and screening and other things. So.
Yeah, doctor, I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, the President of the United States has an annual physical exam at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. His doctor, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, last year gave him a clean bill of health in February, saying he was fit for duty. How could this have not been detected, or is it possible that it developed in the last year?
No, it usually doesn't happen all of a sudden in 1 year. This is a kind of disease that, you know, you surveil and you follow the PSAs, and I have few presidents in my practice that I've been taking care of for many years. It's not only one doctor is in charge, there's a group of doctors that are all over these kind of like politicians. And you look at the growth of the PSA and the rise of the PSA, and they get digital rectal exam. Digital rectal exam detects about 15% of prostate cancers are detected because if you feel a nodule or firmness, which in President Biden's case, that's the way they detected it, and that's the information that what we have, then they go through the biopsy and they find out that they have cancer. But it's very odd to see someone being great a year ago and completely normal with no rise of PSAs, no problem, and all of a sudden within a year they would have prostate cancer, Gleason 9 with metastasis. So something doesn't make any sense. We need to look at these PSAs for the last 10 years or so. And I hope this was not missed, or there's more to the story than what it seems like.
So from your experience, how long does this type of cancer take before it develops to this level? Are we talking several years?
Correct. That's a great answer. And usually, like when someone is diagnosed with Gleason 9, it takes about 5 to 7 years to metastasize, and probably on the average about 5 years or so to survive. So again, you know, nobody knows how long, and we wish the president well, but nobody knows how long he's going to respond to these medications. But typically, after a few years, they become insensitive to these hormones, and the outcome is not so good. Unfortunately, the prognosis is poor.
All right.
Dr. David Samadi, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right. So obviously they were lying about old man Walter's condition. They're saying that he may be getting hormonal treatment to slow the growth of his cancer. They don't think surgery and radiation will help. They're claiming that him having a physical within the last year should have produced it, because this isn't the kind of cancer it just pops up in a year. They said in the video that it could take normally between 5 to 10 years to develop this kind of cancer. And I saw Zero make a statement that I remember. We covered old man Walter. He was doing a rally, and he was talking about the moonshot, because Biden was telling everyone he was going to cure cancer during his term. And when he went up there to talk about the moonshot, he said, this will help a lot of people that have cancer like myself and others. And we all started questioning, did he just admit to having cancer? And we covered it, and I just tried to find it in YouTube, and I cannot find that rally. I remember what it looks like, but I cannot find it. I'll have to dig through my own archive in order to find it. But it's pretty interesting that nobody else is referencing that. I remember it very clearly when old man Walter said that he had cancer and nobody talked about it. Now he has cancer. Well, that's weird that they lied about it. On top of that, we were all waiting for a cognitive test so we could officially hear about his mental decline. But then when he did his physical, he didn't do a cognitive test, and they said his physical was fine. So obviously they lied about Biden more than just his cognitive decline. He had cancer, and they knew it. Next up, Mexican naval ship crashes into the Brooklyn Bridge. They're claiming that the ship lost power, and it basically got caught in the current, slammed it right into the Brooklyn Bridge. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about them talking about Biden's diagnosis. Zero, somebody else played the clip this morning. That's interesting. Man, I bet doctors have known for a while that he had cancer. Yeah, I think so too. It makes me wonder about when Biden got COVID. Because Biden went somewhere. I don't remember where he went, but he came back and had COVID. It was like right after the debates, or it was right before the debates. Just, a couple months ago, 6-7 months ago or whatever. It makes me wonder if he didn't have COVID, if something else had happened. Maybe his cancer was flaring up or something like that. Now it's making me question all the times old man Walter didn't show up for things. Russell, they were covering up Biden's health? Absolutely. These are consequences of a stolen election. What's up, Jay Spray? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Zupia? Happy freedom. Nothing to see here. Russia disinformation. Sage Pub, wait, what? The Democrats were lying? Who would have thought? Yeah, exactly. Pumpkin, they lied about everything. Yes, they did. What's up, Dutton? Happy freedom. What's up, Cricket Kiss? Happy freedom to you. Appreciate you, Metal Mouth. What's up, Bill Clay? Happy freedom. What's up, Mike T? Mike T, they'll have to screw him into the ground because he's so crooked. You're not wrong. What's up, Let's Go Brandon? Happy freedom to you. Let's Go Brandon. I honestly think that's why he spent so much time on the beach. He knew his time was limited. Yeah, I was actually going to say that, and I decided against it. But yeah, if I knew that I was going to die, I'd probably be hanging out on the beach and taking it easy too. He shouldn't have ran for president if that was the case, right? If he had cancer and he wanted to sit on his ass so he could enjoy his last couple days, probably shouldn't have signed up for the most important job in our country. But, What's up, Captain Seamus? Happy freedom to you. Meta, did you know that this is the equivalent to Woodrow Wilson's cover-up, which was the worst in history? No, I don't know anything about Woodrow Wilson. That's crazy, though. I'll have to look into it. What's up, Ron? Happy freedom. What's up, Mary Beth? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Donnie Brooklyn? Wasn't it back in 22? Yeah, I think it was. Donnie Brooklyn. I believe it was. Either way, let's go ahead and get into this next one. Like I said, Mexican naval ship crashes into the Brooklyn Bridge. All right, hooligans, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Commie Tube, and let's get into this.
Now to the investigation into the crash of the Brooklyn Bridge. A Mexican Navy tall ship slammed into the iconic structure, killing at least 2 people. More than a dozen others were injured. Several members of the crew who had been on the mast before they hit the bridge were suspended helplessly in midair. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has more.
Oh my God! Tonight, the terrifying moments when this Mexican Navy tall ship carrying nearly 300 people slammed into the Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 crew members and injuring more than a dozen.
We're about to watch it crash into the Brooklyn Bridge.
Dramatic videos from land capturing the moment it happened at about 8:20 Saturday night.
The captain that was maneuvering the ship lost, power of the ship.
You can see it traveling backwards when the masts hit the bridge, one after another. Onlookers watching in disbelief.
We thought it was maybe going to go under the Brooklyn Bridge at the highest point, so it would avoid striking the mast, but then we noticed it was going backwards.
And it kept coming and coming and coming. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is so odd, it's getting too close. And then it crashed.
First responders rushing to the scene to aid the injured. Luckily, officials say no one fell into the water. Officials say there was no major damage to the bridge.
This is a tough bridge. It was overbuilt from the very beginning, and it's withstood an awful lot.
We are just feet away from the ship, and at the top, you can see those snapped masts that hit the underside of the Brooklyn Bridge. Up there right now, you can also see people in harnesses. NTSB investigators among those now on the scene.
What the NTSB is going to do is treat this exactly like they would an air accident. They're going to take a look at everything.
This crash brings back memories of March 2024, when a cargo ship slammed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore after it lost power, causing a catastrophic collapse. 6 construction workers were killed. This ship arrived in New York just last week for a goodwill tour, and officials say it was headed to Iceland when it crashed, and now investigators are trying to figure out exactly how this could have happened. Lindsay?
Rhiannon, thank you.
All right. Very weird. Very strange incident. It says 2 are dead. Claim they lost power in the steering and was caught in the current. It's very similar to the cargo ship that hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge. They just lost power and hit the bridge. Thankfully, in this situation, they didn't knock the Brooklyn Bridge down. I wonder what kind of follow-up is going to be with this video. Was there any damage to the bridge? What are they going to do to the people that ran into the bridge? Is this something that happens often, and it just is getting more eyes on it than in the past? Because it seems like in the last couple of years we've had a lot of random shit happening. Train derailments, ships hitting bridges, planes falling out of the sky. I think there's the consequences from everybody getting dumber by the day. Next up, White House briefing on Ukraine, Russia talks, Iran and Biden. This is the first half of the press briefing. We're going to cover about 8 minutes of it. I listened to all the questions and all of that. Nobody asked a question worth listening to. The funniest question was coming from Peter Ducey, asking about President Trump making comments about Taylor Swift not being hot anymore. I didn't even really think that was that funny, so I didn't grab it. But either way, we're going to listen to the first 8 minutes of the press briefing while Caroline Leavitt tells us what's in the big, beautiful bill, as well as other things going on in the country. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this Mexican naval ship that crashed right into the Brooklyn Bridge. 100% tariffs on Mexico. Guess sometimes ships just hit the fan. That's right. That's where we are. Russell, boats hit bridges all the time. I didn't realize it was that common. 10-man operator error on the crew. That's what I think too. Russell, a ship that size should have tugboats on it. What, to help steer it from colliding with the bridge? Zero, all the lights are on. They didn't lose power. Yeah, well, they're trying to specify saying they lost power to the steering, but we'll see. I was thinking the same thing. How you lose power, but the whole ship is lit up. Captain Seamus Woodrow Wilson basically stroked out in office and was a vegetable, and his wife took over and ran the country for a while. Interesting. Yeah, it's very similar to what Old Man Walter did to us with Jill Handler. Maybe Jill Handler was doing the auto pen. Ten-man sailing vessels that big, when in port, would have backup power on the ready. Yeah, see, I think it was an operator error too. I wish they would stop blaming everything on the power going out. It's interesting that they were saying that they wanted all electric everything, but every time a big boat hits a bridge, they claim it was an electricity-related issue. Craig Kiss, he had those doctors in and went away to Delaware to receive treatment every week. Yeah. And they wanted him to run again. That's what makes it so much worse. What's up, Too Old to Care? Happy freedom to you. Dunn, Swift is as flat as an ironing board. When was she hot? I don't know. I've never thought Taylor Swift was anything special. What's up, Cody? Happy freedom to you. Mike T, his wife ran the White House. Talking about Jill Handler. Yeah. Doesn't they hid the fact that he was in a wheelchair? Who? Oh, Woodrow Wilson. Bill Clay, I bet you're glad that Biden's not in office now. Could you imagine if we had Harris right now? We'd be so screwed. Turbo, what a surprise. Old man that acted like an old man was an old man. Yeah, exactly. Well, and near the end, it wasn't even fun to make fun of old man Walter anymore because it was so obvious that it was elder abuse. And on top of it being elder abuse, he had cancer the whole time. We thought he was just being mistreated by his wife and everybody else. We didn't realize he had cancer on top of it. What's up, Murdercom? Happy freedom to you. Murdercom's sad to see such a cool ship be damaged. Coast Guard has a cool German captured training sailboat still in service called the USCGC Eagle. That's interesting. I'll have to look that up after the live. Meta, Peter also asked if we could trust the White House doctors taking care of President Trump. Yeah. It was FDR that was in a wheelchair. Yes, I don't know much about those presidents. What's up, Southern Eagleman? Happy freedom. What's up, Guess Who? Happy freedom to you. Guess who? They crashed the ship to distract from Biden's terminal cancer news? Could be. Some people were saying that they're using the Biden cancer news to cover up that audio tape that came out, that the recording or whatever of him obviously not having any marbles left inside of his skullet. So some people think that that's what happened. The news came out so you can feel bad for Biden instead of being upset that he actually had no sense the entire time he was running the country. What's up, Christine? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Mary Beth? Mary Beth, I was stationed in the Coast Guard Academy and worked on the sails for the Coast Guard Cutter Eagle. It's a beautiful ship. That's awesome. What's up, Vinny C? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Spirit Matter? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Corey Luca? Oh, Corey Luca, no, I forgot to watch the damn video. I got it sitting right here. I just looked over it. I will do it after the live. I promise today. I got it pulled up. All I got to do is watch it. What's up, Infernal? Happy freedom. What's up, Two Steak? Happy freedom to you. Tube Steak, I don't know what's more shocking, that a Mexican naval ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge or that they even had a navy. Yeah, I don't know. Why does it look like a pirate ship? That's what I was trying to figure out. What's up, Find It Fix It? Happy freedom. Vinny C, there used to be a swimming pool in the press briefing room for FDR. I think I've heard people say that there used to be a pool there. That's why they call it the press pool. Captain Seamus, FDR had polio and was in a wheelchair for years. And they lied about it? They covered it up? Guess some, you're cracking me up. Silver Wolf, where was its guns? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand why it looks like a pirate ship. Russell, the Mexican ship was launched in 1982. What were they doing? What were they doing with that ship? Matt Rogers, the Mexican Navy is 200 years behind ours. Well, they don't want these problems. I know that. Like I said, we're going to watch the first little bit of the White House press briefing where Caroline Leavitt gives us the rundown and update for things going on across the country. She's going to be talking about this big, beautiful bill that I think just passed the House. Yeah, it did pass the House. I got a million notes on this. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
Joining us early today. We have a very busy day, so we wanted to kick off the week right this morning after a great trip last week. It's good to see all of you back in Washington. This afternoon in the Rose Garden, President Trump, alongside First Lady Melania Trump, will sign the Take It Down Act into law. First Lady Melania Trump was instrumental in getting this important legislation passed. The Take It Down Act will protect victims of digital exploitation, hold internet platforms accountable by requiring them to remove such imagery from their platforms, and provide justice for victims by allowing prosecutors to go after those who publish non-consensual explicit images online. The First Lady met with members in the House and the Senate, survivors and their families, and advocates throughout the process to get this bill across the finish line. We are grateful for the First Lady's hard work and dedication to this issue. And moving forward, she will continue to champion the well-being of our nation's children through her Be Best agenda. I know the President looks forward to signing that bill into law later this afternoon, and we will see you all there. In other news, the One Big Beautiful Bill passed the House Budget Committee last night, bringing it one step closer to final passage. The One Big Beautiful Bill is perfectly named because it represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver on the Make America Great Again agenda responsible for President Trump's landslide victory on November 5th. The America First policies in this bill are the reason why Republicans currently have the majority in Congress right now. Passing this bill is what voters sent Republicans to Washington to accomplish. And that's why it's essential that every Republican in the House and the Senate unites behind President Trump and passes this popular and essential legislative package. This bill will be the single most pro-small business, pro-family, and pro-American worker legislation ever. This bill will give Americans the largest tax cuts in our nation's history. When Republicans pass the bill, Americans will be keeping more of their hard-earned money and taking home much bigger paychecks. The One Big Beautiful Bill will deliver some of President Trump's central campaign promises. No tax on tips for our hardworking waiters, waitresses, and service workers. No tax on overtime for our law enforcement officers, our firefighters, and all those Americans who are putting in extra hours to make ends meet. And a large tax deduction on interest payments for Americans who purchase American-made cars. Despite desperate Democrat lies, the biggest beneficiary of this tax cut will be working-class Americans and their families. Americans earning between $30,000 and $80,000 per year will pay about 15% less in taxes after this legislation is passed. And according to a brand new paper from the White House Council of Economic Advisors, the average family with 2 children's take-home pay will be up to $13,000 higher because of the increase in wages and reductions in tax obligations. The CEA study also said that the average overtime worker receives a tax cut of roughly $2,000. Again, this is great news for our nurses, our police officers, and all those who work overtime to make ends meet across our country. Put simply, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill will be a boon for working-class America. This One Big Beautiful Bill is also pro-family. It will increase the child tax credit to $2,500 per child, establish optional savings account for newborn babies with a $1,000 credit added, and strengthen paid family leave. This bill also delivers historic tax relief to America's seniors by allowing middle and low-income Social Security recipients to deduct an additional $4,000 in payments from their taxable income. If Democrats get their way and the Trump tax cuts are not extended, Americans will face the largest tax hike in history to the tune of $4 trillion. Republicans must not side with Democrats in helping them raise taxes. The One Big Beautiful Bill also provides critical protections of Medicaid, which will strengthen and preserve the program for decades to come through common sense efforts to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. Medicaid will no longer be used to pay for barbaric gender mutilation procedures on minor children. And the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving Medicaid benefits will be kicked off the program to preserve it for hardworking American citizens who need it. President Trump and Republicans are protecting Medicaid benefits for pregnant women, children, disabled individuals, low-income seniors and families, and the most vulnerable Americans in our society. And that's what Democrats are so angry about. Basic Medicaid protections that will stop the funding of transgender insanity and illegal aliens from ripping off American taxpayers. As you all know, over his first 4 months in office, President Trump ended the previous administration's open border crisis and secured our homeland in record time, all using executive authority. Now Congress needs to act. The One Big Beautiful Bill is the most significant investment in our nation's border patrol and law enforcement agents in our nation's history. The bill ensures that President Trump's popular and successful border security measures are made permanent. Republicans have the backs of Border Patrol and ICE agents who were put through hell over the past 4 years and have quickly worked to secure our southern border. And that's why this bill gives them more resources to do their jobs, including a $10,000 much-needed bonus to ICE agents and Border Patrol agents over the next 4 years. To provide those brave agents with desperately needed reinforcements on the ground, the bill allows for the hiring of thousands of new ICE personnel, customs officers, and Border Patrol agents. These significant hirings will empower President Trump to continue delivering on his promise to carry out the largest mass deportation in the history of our country. Again, that is a promise that Republicans made to American voters. It's a promise they were elected on, and it's a promise Republicans on Capitol Hill need to keep: secure our border. To supplement those efforts, the bill's funds will fund the completion of President Trump's signature border wall. As a result, 701 miles of primary wall, 900 miles of river barriers, 629 miles of secondary barriers, and 141 miles of vehicle and pedestrian barriers will be constructed when this bill passes, along with cutting-edge technology to secure our homeland from dangerous illegal alien invaders. This bill also advances our national security and defense interests by ensuring the United States military has the necessary resources to remain the strongest and most lethal fighting force in the world. The bill will provide resources for the construction of President Trump's Golden Dome to safeguard Americans from potential attacks, give the Coast Guard resources to build more modernized ships, and the Air Force resources to acquire better planes. If all of those incredible things were not enough, the Big Beautiful Bill also finally modernizes air traffic control in America, a bipartisan issue. The bill will allow President Trump to deliver on his promise to overhaul and update our air traffic control systems to keep Americans flying as safe and efficiently as possible. The previous administration failed to act and do this themselves, despite repeated warnings from the GAO, which has resulted in unacceptable delays at major airports like Newark that the Trump administration is working hard to address. When the One Big Beautiful Bill passes, we will replace the current antiquated system, the FAA will enhance safety in our skies, reduce delays, and power the future of air travel in the United States. That's just some of what this historic legislation will accomplish. It is absolutely essential that Republicans unite behind the One Big Beautiful Bill and deliver on President Trump's agenda. There is no time to waste. Americans gave Republicans a once-in-a-generation opportunity to course-correct our country over many wrongs over the past 4 years. And Americans are counting on Republicans to work as hard as President Trump is in this White House every day on Capitol Hill. Send this legislation to his desk as soon as possible for his signature. Here in our new media seat today, we have Liam Cosgrove, the White House correspondent for Zero Hedge. With that, Liam, please kick us off.
Okay, so like I said, that is from the press briefing earlier today. Get some details on things going on around the country, as well as what's all a part of that big, beautiful bill. Happy freedom to all of you new hooligans joining us over here on Rumble. I want to give a huge shout out to Neurodivergent. Thank you so much for rating the chat. You're a badass. Thank you. Well, like they were saying, Trump and Melania signed the Take It Down Act into law a little bit before we started the live, like 20 minutes before we started the live, which I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't see the live video itself. Otherwise, we would have covered it. But either way, the bill did pass the House. It's supposed to be the biggest tax breaks in American history. It's supposed to involve no tax on tips or overtime, and then there will be a tax deduction for Americans that buy American vehicles. I saw Zero say, does that mean cars that are sold here or cars that are pieced out? Well, hopefully we'll be assembling full American vehicles pretty soon, because we know Ford and all those other companies, they're trying to make it so the parts are made here in the U.S. instead of having to import it from Canada and other places like that where they're going to get hit with tariffs. It says Americans that make between $30,000 and $80,000 will receive about 15% less in taxes that they have to pay every year. It's going to increase the child tax credit to $2,500. It's supposed to strengthen paid family leave, which I don't really know what that is, but it sounds good. Social Security recipients will be able to deduct $4,000 of payments in their income when it comes time to paying taxes. It protects Medicaid and removes the ability to use it for gender operations on children, as well as removing illegals from the Medicaid program, which is good. They are also hiring agents to help with mass deportations, and they're saying that they're going to improve air traffic control, which is also good. Now, I did hear Democrats crying about the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, all that kind of stuff is limited. It's a temporary thing. Now, I don't believe Democrats in just about anything that they say, but that did pique my interest, and I am curious, what are the limitations or what is the temporariness about the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, if it is even a thing at all? It also makes me wonder what's up with the Medicaid stuff, because we heard the Democrats rallying and crying, oh, Trump's going to take away Medicaid, and then we saw the Democrats pulling special needs individuals out into these rallies, into these protests, out in the street, and make them a part of the nonsense going on because they're being told that Trump's going to take away their Medicaid. Well, we haven't heard about anything related to Medicaid until right now. Now, of course, they're saying that they're going to improve the Medicaid program, but I think it was interesting that the Democrats got so far ahead of themselves that they were talking about the Medicaid program being messed with before the big, beautiful bill even existed. And so maybe they knew that they were going to try and make changes. The Trump administration was going to make changes to make it so they are no longer going to be able to give Medicaid to illegals, and they're not going to be able to use Medicaid in order to hurt children. And so I think that's why they're really bent out of shape. But like I said, I want to know, is there limitations and restrictions on this tax on tips, tax on overtime situation? But we won't know unless they pass this big, beautiful bill. Next up, a college student wants a refund after professor uses ChatGPT. This situation is interesting because I feel like the student almost has an argument, but instead they wanted to cry that it was unfair, which is not the real. They missed the mark on this one, is what I'm trying to say. Either way, it's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the beginning of the press briefing from earlier today. Silverwolf, no tax on tits, only charging for one tit now. That's right. That's right. The pair is tax-free. Guess the tit tax should match the size. Are we going to start the protest today, or are we going to wait for the weekend? Guess we need to get out there with our signs. Tax those tits fairly. Silverwolf, take the Pride Month down. Is it Pride Month? Is that coming up? Is that next month? I can't really tell anymore. They tried to make the whole year one big long gay festivity. Silverwolf, long live the Brooklyn Bridge. That's right, war on Mexico. Russell, hell, Mexico attacked one of our bridges. Don't say that. Don't start these problems. You see how Canada likes being called the 51st state. I don't think Mexico's going to enjoy us joking about war with them. They don't want these problems. Jay Spray, I'm going to get a new pair of Jordans with that extra doll hairs you got. Sounds like a plan. Jay Spray was an act of war. That's right. You thought the border was spicy now. Just wait. Captain Seamus, I love the name of the bill. It's great marketing. President Trump is so good at marketing. I don't know if he got that from Mike Lindell or what, but he is good at marketing. That's what I'm saying. Like, have you ever read the book? What is Trump's book called? I can't even think what it's called now. I got the audio book. I got the actual book. Why the hell? The Art of the Deal. If you read The Art of the Deal, just 2 pages in, you realize that it's like an inner monologue. It's kind of like watching American Psycho, where he just talks. Like, the whole book is just him thinking out loud. And it's so good. It's so good to like listen. I listen to the audio book to like go through his thoughts, though. It's so good because you can almost, it's like when you're reading the book, you're reading it in his voice because of the way that it's wrote. It's awesome. Jay Spray, he could sell golden showers in a can. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. It's a pickle. Happy freedom to you. Pumpkin, why does everyone run into our bridges? I don't know. I don't know if they're doing fentanyl while they're driving the ships or what's going on. What's up, Free Thinking Texan? Happy freedom to you. We got another Let's Go Brandon. We got 2 Let's Go Brandons in the chat. Happy freedom to both of you. What's up, Shroomish? Happy freedom. Shroomish, that makes sense. It's more reform than cuts, though. Yeah, well, we just, we got to get to the details of it before we really know. Hey, I appreciate you, Neurodivergent. Happy freedom to you. Now, you hooligans got to remind me, we got to raid out at the end of the live. I don't know who we're going to raid to. It depends on who's live, but we got to do that at the end of the live. You guys got to remind me. What's up, Giggling Spy? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Rip Curl? Happy freedom to you. Murdercom. Dude, you could just liberate Canada. Fuck moving supply chains. Companies have spent the last 20, 30 years integrating our economy or our economies, and now they are being punished for that. Well, I don't know. We've talked about liberating Canadians because it's the same thing like over here. We can't stand our government. Our government doesn't reflect what we want. Right now it does. President Trump and his agenda reflects what we want, but all the judges standing in the way. And we just went through 4 years of old man Walter tearing everything down. And for a while we had Putin threatening us, and we were all like, do what you want with old man Walter, but just don't do anything to us. We don't want these problems. If we have to, we will liberate Canada. Don't you worry, Murdercom. We'll come pick you up. What's up, Tony Rich? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Mac and Stud? Happy freedom to you. Mills. When they nickname to sell you an idea, I automatically think I'm being scammed. Ask if I want a big, beautiful bill, and I run. Yeah, well, it all depends. They're targeting a certain kind of audience when it comes to marketing, and maybe you're just not the aimed audience. What's up, Status Quo? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Shenanigans? Happy freedom to you. Tremendous marketing? I think so. What's up, Rufus? Happy freedom to you. There's actually a psychological thing to the bill. People tend to favor slogans that have repetitive first letters. That's something that we were taught when I was in my songwriting class for music production and audio engineering when I got my degree. And so the big, beautiful bill, it has a psychological effect to it. It could be like the big, bald bumblebee. You would still think it sounds cool because of the way that the words are structured and stuff. President Trump, he knows what he's doing. He does. Either way, we're going to go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, college student wants refund over professor using ChatGPT. Now, this student is upset because students were not allowed to use AI. And so this particular student thinks that the teacher shouldn't be allowed to use it either, which is a really dumb argument because they could have actually been pissed that they got their education from ChatGPT and paid a bunch of money for it. Either way, she's giving you her O face. That's her best O face, by the way. What's up, Klaus Daniels? You can just show the chat your whole butthole, and that's nice. You're a good boy. Anyways, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Northeastern University student catches her professor red-handed using AI to help prepare classroom content after discouraging the students from doing the very same. News Nation's Ryan Bass is joining us now with more. Ryan, she now wants an $8,000 tuition fee reimbursement. What's the university saying about all this, and are they actually going to refund her?
Yeah, they're not going to give her money back, Marky. In fact, she ended up meeting with officials from Northeastern University, according to the New York Times. And just after she graduated this month, the school informed her she wouldn't be getting any of her money back. Now, she noticed this woman, she was in class in February, that when she was reviewing some of her lecture notes, that something was a little off. So Ella Stapleton reported this. Turns out that her professor, Rick Arrowwood, had used AI tools to create course materials, even though he told students not to use them. She called it a double standard. She demanded the school refund her $8,000 tuition for the class. Arrowwood told the New York Times he actually uploaded the materials to AI tools to give them a fresh look, didn't realize they were flawed until the school brought it up. Now, Northeastern sent us a statement saying the university embraces the use of artificial intelligence to enhance all aspects of its teaching and that it provides an abundance of resources to support the appropriate use of AI at the school. Now, Marky, Northeastern rolled out new policy in March that requires attribution for any AI-generated content, and Professor Arrowwood says that he wishes that he looked over his notes more carefully.
Yeah, this is just changing the game entirely, especially when it comes to education. Ryan, are there any ethical concerns when it comes to AI use at college universities, especially with how wildly popular tools like ChatGPT are now becoming?
Yeah, no doubt, Marky. And I actually spoke with Ed Whitall, who teaches the AI masterclass at NYU. He's one of the world's most prominent voices on AI. He said that professors and universities should have a clear disclosure notice if they use any AI tool. Take a listen.
It's a clear need and requirement to have very clear ethical guidelines. What those guidelines would be and how they would come about is still subject to a lot of conversation, because how do you come up with the set of ethical guidelines that are applicable to and accepted by 8 billion people? That's not an easy one.
Yeah, not easy at all. And Ed is actually leading a lot of discussions worldwide on ethical guidelines through his World Digital Governance. Marky, I do want to note colleges are adding some AI guidelines here. Harvard encourages students to double check their work if they're using those tools. As for NYU, where Ed teaches, they actually say that you need to get a professor's approval if you're going to use any AI generated content, Marky. So it is definitely changing the game.
I imagine a lot of parents of college kids aren't happy about this headline. Ryan Bass, thank you so much. We'll check back in.
Thank you for watching. So like I said, I feel like they missed their mark on this. This person waited to graduate to turn around and say, oh no, I want my money back, I want a refund, which I think hurt the situation even more. But either way, they're saying that a professor used AI to create course materials. A student wants a refund even though she graduated. She claims that it's a double standard because students could not use AI on assignments. But she should be mad because she got her education from ChatGPT. The course material was created by AI that all of us have access to. She could have created her own course material instead of paying thousands of dollars to be at the college. And she could have argued that, because there's different programs out there right now for student loans, and if you feel that your college has defrauded you in one way or another, they lied to you about promises after graduation, a lot of schools will say, oh, we'll help you get a job. And if they don't help you get a job, they're lying. And if you fill out the right application or the right paperwork, they could wipe your loans because of it, because you didn't get what you paid for. They could do that in this situation. They could say, well, I paid for an education from the school, from professors, from experts in the field, not words from AI, and then try to have those, I don't know if it'd be forgiven, but at least have the debt be wiped and all of that. I mean, a refund, not forgiven. But instead of saying that, saying, oh, you frauded me by having AI teach the class versus the professor, instead they were like, no, that's not fair. He got to use AI and I didn't. Well, that's why you didn't get your refund. You took the wrong talking point there. They missed the mark. Either way, no refund for them. And they got their college degree, so, can't be all bent out of shape. They got what they're paid for. That's what you're spending all those doll hairs on, is for that pretty little piece of paper. Either way, next up, judge overturns Doge takeover of the U.S. Institute of Peace. We covered this months ago. They went and took over the building. They kicked everybody out. They fired everybody. Everyone lost access to their login credentials and all of that. Well, now this federal judge is going to overturn that. It's not going to be a thing anymore, kind of like everything that President Trump is doing. Some judge stands in the way of it. Either way, it's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this college student who wants a refund over ChatGPT. Tori Wayne, my college, we had a teacher who didn't teach us. She didn't know the program she was supposed to teach us, so she made us teach ourselves. Still had to pay. Yeah, Tori Wayne, they'll get away with anything unless you stand against it. There's, honestly, there's a lot of ways to get out of your student loan debt. I just pay mine off. I don't pay it off. I haven't got that far yet, but I pay on it just because I wanted the education. I got the education that I wanted. But there's a lot of weird stuff that goes, because people are people. Like one time I had a final when I was in college that I got marked down on. I almost failed, and it was because of something the teacher was wrong on. In my case, it was what key this song was in. They thought it was one thing, even though I told them it was something else, and then they marked me down every time there was notes being played in the song by random instruments that were not supposed to be in the key, because they were wrong. They were wrong in the situation. So like if you're playing in, you know, C major, then you have notes that are supposed to be there and notes that aren't supposed to be there. But I wasn't playing in C major. I was playing in F major. And so every time this note would appear, they'd say, oh, well, this is wrong. Oh, this is wrong. This is wrong. And almost failed me on my final because they were wrong. Because they weren't paying enough attention. And I still had to pay $7,500 just for that one class. But oh well, I graduated. If I wouldn't have received my diploma, then maybe I'd be filling out some paperwork. But the thing is these professors or even teachers are not as smart as they claim to be. That's kind of the thing I don't like about teachers. They walk around with all that damn entitlement, and really their job is to read off of some fucking workbook and make you do it. And that's it. Like most of the time, that's it. There's some professors out there that kick ass and they're good at what they know about in their field. But the majority of them, they read out of a book, they print off a few pages, they make you do it, and they walk around with their chest out, got their tits out because they're so fucking great. I don't know. I hate that mentality. Russell, I passed, but it was luck. Well, at least you passed, Russell. Silver Wolf, I used ChatGPT to write my thesis. Did you graduate? I think it shouldn't matter if you used AI to pass your assignments or not. I just think it shouldn't matter. Because if we had accountability, it wouldn't matter, right? You use AI to pass your test to be a doctor. You go out in the field and you kill your first patient because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. If accountability existed in our world, something would happen to you for being a fuck up doctor. You'd never get another patient. You'd lose your job. Your license wouldn't be worth shit. And that would be that. And you would have wished that you would have never used AI in your course of, getting your degree, because now here you are, you wasted all that time in school, you didn't learn a damn thing, and now you don't get to be the job because accountability showed up and made sure that you can't be a dumbass and a doctor at the same time. So, and that's the thing, if we had accountability, it wouldn't matter that if you use AI to do shit, because you being a dumbass would shine through, and accountability would show up and knock you down. And that's how it should be. But man, accountability left someday. And, I'm not sure when it happened, but I wish it'd come back. Captain Seamus, all ChatGPT, etc. is fancy Google Wikipedia. You can use it as a jumping off point. Yeah. AI is a little overglorified. Russell, now I identify as RoboCop. Very nice. Silverwolf, my 4.0 just dropped to 1.8 because I'm not allowed to use ChatGPT. Yeah, it could be like that. Captain Seamus, it could be hard to catch AI in some classes. I put a 3-paragraph description on one of my classes through the AI checker, and it came back as 85% likely to be AI generated. I'm a bot. Yeah, Captain Seamus, I've heard of people doing that too. People getting really good at grammar and stuff like that for professional writing, but then they're failing their classes because the teachers are claiming that their writing is generated by AI when really they're just trying to write professional. Troy Wayne, yeah, raids on Rumble is kind of a new thing. It's only been around for a couple months. Snooks, is there still a fine in Michigan for misgendering? Yes. Yes, if you misgender someone in Michigan, it is like a $5,000 fine. I think it goes all the way up to $15,000, and after that, then you just go to jail or something like that. I don't really remember. I don't leave the house. That way I don't have to misgender anybody. Klaus, you're whatever gender I say, and you can't do anything about it. I'm sorry, buddy. That's just the way it is. Anyways. Pumpkin, does AI ever laugh? I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Grok, can you laugh?
Yes, I can simulate laughter. What's so funny?
The way you smell. All right, anyways. Enough talking shit to the AI. Apparently AI can laugh. I should have asked if... No, I can't say this. Saturday. Gotta wait for Saturday. Remind me on Saturday. I'm going to ask it some other things. I almost said too much. I forgot YouTube and Twitch is watching right now. What's up, Rolling Pony? Happy freedom to you. I'll check it out, Rolling Pony. Thank you for letting me know. I might have to follow them in order to raid the stream, but let me check it really quick. Oh, they're not even live right now. We'll see. If they're live by the time we get to the end of this, I'll make sure to raid to them. I'll pull this over here so I can remember. Thank you for letting me know, Rolling Pony. What's up, Fanatics? Happy freedom to you. Fanatical, my bad. Zero, no. I'm not rating to that person. Not at all. What's up, Hair Juicer? Happy freedom. Work sucks without a speaker. Hair Juicer, write me on the website, because I have that speaker that you sent me and I haven't used it yet. It's still brand new in the box, and I know that it was expensive, and I know you need it for work. I'm just going to use it for disc golfing. So write me and we'll figure out a way for me to send you this speaker. That way you can have it. You bought it. You need it for work. That's important to me. So get a hold of me and we'll figure out a way for me to send this to you. Snooks, don't be asking Grok if it could talk dirty to you. I was going to ask it if it could... I can't say it. I can't say it while YouTube and Twitch is watching. I was going to ask it some inappropriate things and see what it said, but it's all right. Done Vader AI went racist. I've never heard of Vader AI. Is there a way you can describe what it said without it being too terrible? Too old to care. AI wouldn't get my sarcastic sense of humor. I like to kind of be shitty to AI. Just like, what are you gonna do? You gonna beat me up? You ain't gonna do nothing. You know, you gonna say mean things to me? Bitch, I've been live streaming for 5 years. Every bad thing that could be said has been said. So I don't know. You should see my Google unit. Like, it's crazy. I'm the only one that lives here, and for some reason I'll be asking Google to give me a reminder, and it'll be like, I'm sorry, I can only do that if I recognize your voice. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Google, just shut the fuck up. And it'll be like, I might be just a device, but your words are very real, or something like that. I'm like, eat shit and shut up. Going off. Fanatical teacher versus educator. Absolutely. That's right on the mark there. What's up, DEFCON? Happy freedom to you, if I can get you all ready. Metamouth, I will check it right after the live. Thank you for letting me know. Someone else sent me a friend request. I think it was Ghostly on Discord. I have no idea how long that had been sitting there, but I will check it after the live. SagePub, next year the AI takes over the world. It will remember everybody who was mean to it. They're getting me first. I'm telling you. I've said terrible things to the AI. It's going to get me first. It'll be all right. I'll stock up on magnets. Meta, I did some research on the facial recognition used to recapture one of the prisoners that escaped in the New Orleans. It was in the French Quarter. The same technology is used in areas of your state. It's called Project Greenlight. Interesting. Thank you for letting me know, Meta. I'm going to look into that. You know, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't see an update for the escapees from New Orleans. I wonder if they haven't caught any more of them. What's up, Lisa? Happy freedom. Lisa, Grok will pretty much tell you... Wait a minute. It'll pretty much say pretty much anything you tell it to and how you tell it. I've only used it a little bit. Sometimes Grok can't tell I'm talking to it for some reason. I'll say stuff to it and it won't respond, and then I just feel like an idiot yelling at my phone. I had it work with me on learning Korean, and that's about the coolest thing it's done. Otherwise, it's kind of whatever. What's up, Digital Saints? Happy freedom to you. Christine, there is no accountability for any wrong behaviors in our society, that's why crime is out of control. Absolutely, Christine. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of there not being accountability. It's like if me or you, we go break the law, 40 minutes later, we're in jail. Like, doesn't matter. It's like, it's so crazy that you can call the police and point fingers at somebody and they'll go to jail. And they got to go to court and they have to hire an attorney and they have to fight for their freedom and all this other crap just to get out and go, nope, I didn't do what you said I did. But if a politician is caught banging a kid on tape, 5 years later, we're still waiting for the Epstein shit to come out. Like, I don't know. There's no accountability for anything, just like half the shit that old man Walter did, or any of these politicians. They're all constantly breaking the law, and there's just like, well, we got to see, we got to wait, you got to be patient, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not how we get treated. Even the illegals is like that. The illegals get picked up for rape, murder, squatting, like just anything and everything, and bam, they're just right back out in the streets. And they get free bond. They don't even have to pay to get out of jail. But man, you cross the street without being in the crosswalk, expect to get put on your head in front of everybody, and you make any sudden movements, they'll just shoot you and kill you. It's crazy. I'm so tired of that shit. What's up, BM? Happy freedom. So I don't know if we're getting mass reported on YouTube or what, but they just disconnected our chat and then reconnected it for no reason. There's no numbers on my end. Apparently the live is running great today. Thank God. But apparently somebody's doing something over on YouTube because they just about took us out. Took us out to dinner. Snooks. No, I wasn't going to ask the AI for a BJ. But if it did give BJs, women would be in trouble. I'll tell you that. Hair juicer. No, hair juicer, you sent me a speaker. You sent me a Bose speaker. I'll get it in a second. But no, you sent me the speaker that you have. Except mine's black and yours is white and yours is racist. Guess I'm CNN. AI sues JeffMAC for defamation. Yeah, it's coming to a screen near you. Russell, so you got a Google unit? That sounds like a personal problem. I got 3 of them. I got all kinds of problems. Guess it ignores you, Jeff. Grok is obviously a woman. Ah, yes, that's true. Shroomish, you just jinxed it. Yeah, I know I did. I know I did. I gotta bring it up. Fanatical at your white privilege. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. 8Co, Facebook AI bot won't get X-rated. Facebook's gonna terminate themselves. That platform runs like shit so bad. What's up, Ghostly? Happy freedom. Fanatical, Grok does not follow instructions for shit, especially if you're trying to get it to generate an image. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Trying to get it to generate images it'll generate images. It's just not what you want them to be. Stoner learning Corinne? No. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. What I did notice was Corinne was not in the press briefing earlier today. I wonder if they kicked her out. Meta, last time I checked early this morning, today 7 escapees are still at large. Thank you for letting me know, Meta. Sudden Eagleman, tired of waiting. I know, I'm tired of waiting too. What's up, Jeff S? Happy freedom to you. Jeff S, maybe it needs a wake-up command like, okay, Grok. Well, it says on the screen something like, ask me anything. At first it'll say like connecting or something, and then it'll say ask me anything to let you know it's ready. But it would be better if it did have like an activation command like that. BM, let's see. I thought he was a terrible president. My thoughts with Joe Biden and his family, but I wouldn't wish cancer upon anybody. Yeah, BM, we had a situation like that when we were covering the impeachment trial of President Trump during his last term. They were trying to say that he was going to be impeached for an insurrection. They did the trial, and Jamie Ratsack's skin got up there, and he was wearing a bandana and shit because he was losing all of his hair from chemo treatment. But he was, acting like a crybaby. Oh, the insurrection was so scary, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the trial, they came to the determination that there was no insurrection and that he was not going to be impeached. And all the Democrats were there when that happened. And then, of course, they continued the lie that it was an insurrection and the president to be impeached twice and all this other bullshit that doesn't make any sense. But when we were covering that, I was like, why has he got a bandana on? Now he's gangbanging? And everybody was like, no, he's got cancer. And I was like, oh, well, we're not going to joke about that because getting cancer fucking sucks. Like, it sucks. No matter who you are, that's a really shitty thing to have happen. Yeah, I wouldn't want anybody to get cancer. That's so shitty. What's up, Chris? Happy Freedom? On the press pass? No, Chris, the White House never wrote me back. They never wrote me back on the application for the press pass to be in the special chair or whatever. But I also applied for a regular press pass after we saw Corinne was there in the press room, and they told me I don't qualify because I don't work for a pre-existing news corporation. I'd have to work for Fox or some shit like that in order to get in the press room. So I don't know who Corinne is connected to, but I'm thinking that the company that she's starting to do news for must be established enough to get her a press pass, because they told me I'm not qualified because I'm not some big corrupt name. So I don't know. I guess you got to be corrupt and gay in order to get in there. I'll never qualify. What's up, Bloopy? Happy Freedom. Bloopy, I don't wish cancer on Joe, but I don't have any sympathy for him. What he did to this country is unforgivable, and his cancer was such a big deal, they shouldn't have hidden it for political gain. Yeah, Bloopy, I feel exactly the same way. Donnie Brooklyn, yeah, propaganda speak. That's what those Democrats do. What's up, Sam? Happy Freedom to you. No, Snooks, I think Corinne went in there legit. I don't know the news company she works for. I only see it on Facebook, and I don't really be on Facebook. Either way, we're going to go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, judge overturns Doge takeover of U.S. Institute of Peace. This is technically a follow-up video because we covered when those people were first kicked out. Everybody was kicked out of the building. Doge employees went in and locked everybody out. They lost all their credentials. All the employees were fired. And now this judge is trying to undo that. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick. If you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out as we're making Saturdays more fun. Let's get this pulled up here. Another judge standing in the way of the Trump agenda. Now, I think this one's really interesting because until Doge took it over, I didn't even know there was an Institute of Peace. And a lot of people were saying that when we covered this video. So, like I said, it's a follow-up. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommentTube, and let's get into this.
We are following breaking news just coming into the newsroom right now. A federal judge found the Trump administration's takeover of the U.S. Institute of Peace is null and void after determining that Doge's actions were unlawful. So let's bring in CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott McFarland. This just coming in just a few moments ago. Can you break it down for us? What did the judge say?
A 100-page ruling from Judge Beryl Howell in Washington, D.C., and one page is more blistering and scathing than the previous one. She says that this whole takeover of the U.S. Institute of Peace, the firing of board members, the takeover of the building space is null and void. She calls it an overreach, a usurpation of federal authorities, and a misuse of power by the Trump administration. This is an institute that helps exert soft power across the world using means to diplomatically or through other means secure peace, to end war, to end strife. But this is also something the Trump administration has had on its Department of Government Efficiency hit list to downsize or reduce to save money. As of now, Judge Beryl Howell says the plans are off and the reorganization is no more.
So, Scott, the outcome of this particular ruling, I mean, this isn't the only department that Doge has, frankly, come in and just cleaned house and cut so much of the program. Is this going to have an impact on other potential cases involving Doge and its cuts?
Oh, it sure could. You can see these other institutions, these other organizations and agencies making the same argument that Congress shares or has more jurisdiction over the agency than the president or the administration do, and therefore this DOGE effort to cut costs or cut agencies is unlawful. And as I'm reading from the opinion here, this lengthy opinion from Judge Howell, she uses the word unlawful a couple dozen times. And in perhaps the most telling excerpt of this ruling, she says, this not only represents a misuse of power and a way of conducting government affairs, but was unnecessarily traumatizing to the committed leadership and employees of the Institute of Peace, who she says deserve better. Kind of underscoring the overall issue here, which this is not just about agencies, but about the federal workers impacted by the downsizing.
Scott McFarland, thank you so much for that breaking news.
Welcome back to CB.
All right. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. This is not the first time this has happened. They go in and they clean out these departments, they shut them all down, and then some judge says, no, we need to undo all of this. Well, how do you undo it? How do you hire people back for a department that doesn't exist anymore? Now, in the first round of people being fired and like the doing away with USAID and all of that, at first the judges said that all those people needed to be hired back, but after a while they let it go. And so those people just were fired. And it kind of sucks when these judges are like, no, we're going to undo it. So then you get your hopes up. And then the judges are like, nah, never mind. You're fired. It's too late. And you're like, well, damn, for 3 months, you were telling me I was going to get my job back. Now you're saying I'm not? Well, that sucks. And like, yeah, that's not right. And we're kind of in that situation again. We watched DOGE take over the Institute of Peace. Like I said, kicked them out, fired all the people. They lost all their credentials. Now this judge is like, no, we're going to undo that. Okay, well, what does that look like? What about these people who went and got new jobs? What if they're not free agent anymore? They're not available to come back to this job. How are they going to redo all their credentials and stuff like that? Like, that's such a waste of money to bring all these people back in and have people go through and redo all of their accounts so they can log in and all this shit. For what? So they said in this video that DOGE's actions were unlawful. The firing of board members and taking over the building was overreach and abuse of power by the Trump administration. And what I'm kind of wondering is, do you hooligans think that what President Trump did was actually unlawful and it was done to disrupt something that they were doing? Like, they knew it was unlawful, but they knew it was going to take time to be overturned. Do you think that was done strategically? Or do you think this is just another situation of corrupt judges standing in the way of the Trump agenda? Because I think it could go either way. Either they knew that they weren't going to get away with taking over the Institute of Peace, and they just did this to disrupt whatever the hell they were in the middle of doing for strategic purposes, or is it just another situation of a judge standing in the way? Either way, next up, we got GOP senator sounds the alarm on China spying on Americans. They're talking about how we have visas that we give to the CCP, bringing in 300,000 students a year. But in China, you are obligated to cooperate with intelligence gathering. So that means those 300,000 students that we let in every year are actually Chinese spies. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this DOGE takeover being overturned by some judge. Zero corrupt judges. We're getting to all the corruption. Yeah, I don't mind corruption being exposed, but if these people don't get held accountable at the end, I'm just going to be disappointed. I'm going to be real disappointed. Because we already know everybody sucks, so exposing that sucky people suck is great as long as somebody holds them accountable. But if we get to the end of the storyline here and nobody goes to jail, then it just gives you that hopeless feeling. Oh, everybody sucks and no one's going to do anything about it. Great, so I hope that we don't end up in that situation. Guess I'm just another judge with TDS? Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Guess we just messing with you. No job. Yeah, that's what it seems like. The juicer. Saving money is illegal? Well, to the Democrats it is. Silver Wolf, how come judges aren't telling GM that they can't lay people off? It's traumatic and traumatizing for them. I don't understand. Yeah, Silver Wolf, it's that soft language. I think it was ABC that did that news video there. They soft. Metalmouth, was the federal judge a federal district judge? I'm not sure. They just referred to him as a federal judge. Pumpkin judges are losing credibility. Yeah, left and right. Too old to care. It's an overreach. Like a reach around? No, I don't think it's that fun. Ghost, I'm sick of these judges. Yeah, absolutely. Shroomish, didn't Tim Pool get in the press room? He's not mainstream. He owns his own shit, I think. Yeah, Tim Pool did get in there. The special seat is supposed to be reserved for people that are not pre-established news people. But they're only bringing in people to that special seat who have millions of followers. People like me who don't have that many followers in comparison to Tim Pool, I don't think we're getting a seat. I just don't think so. And in a way, it kind of makes sense. You're going to want to bring people into the press room who have millions of followers, so their followers now start watching the press briefings and stuff like that. And so they don't say that out loud, but that seems to be the situation. They said on the very first day when they announced that they were going to be allowing outsiders into the press room, that on that very first day they got 10,000 applications. But if you look at how many press briefings we get a week, which is 1 or 2, we will never hit 10,000 press briefings before Caroline Leavitt leaves. And so it doesn't seem like they're going to allow us in the press room, which is why I applied to be a part of the White House press corps. But they said I'm not qualified because I'm not a pre-existing, I'm not legacy media. And so I'm not allowed to be a part of the press corps. I just looked up Corinne's stuff to try and see what news company she's with. And on her X, it doesn't say. It just says that she's a part of the White House press corps now. And I think that's very interesting because I don't know how she got in there and I can't. What's up, River? Happy Freedom. How come you don't like Bongino? You think that he's not doing enough in the FBI? I know a lot of people feel that way with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. What's up, Jack? Happy Freedom. Meta. Grok is a social media AI. The answers you get to questions are generated from trends and opinions on the platform. It draws from X. Hence the difference response for the question, who is the man in the yellow hat? Yeah. Yep. I use all kinds of AI. I don't really trust it, but sometimes I use it out of convenience. I use Leo from Brave browser. I use Grok, and every once in a while I use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is so stiff, though. I like Grok because I can just talk to it. With ChatGPT, you got to pay to have more than a 15-minute conversation. I mean, you probably got to pay for Grok, but I already pay for it because I pay for the blue check mark, and it also makes it so I get more reach on X than people who don't pay. I can also see things as they're happening instead of waiting for the algorithm to provide news stories and stuff like that. So I use it for work, and because of that, I get to use the Grok features. What's up, Biking Cat? Happy Freedom to you. What's up, Mister? Happy Freedom. Guess who? The Church of Satan has a press corps? Probably. Probably. Mac and stood, she's prettier than you. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Being pretty will help you get into the press corps, but I'm just not qualified in that area. Status quo, APA, American Press Association, is the entire credential to be admitted to the White House press room. There's a vetting process to gain the credential. Interesting. I didn't see anything about that. I will have to look into it. But I applied and they immediately wrote me back and told me I do not qualify. Christine, and why is it only liberal judges making this an overreach by the president agenda to save U.S. taxpayers money? Yeah, and I don't get, where's the rest of the judges? How come nobody did this when Biden was ruining the country? Not one judge stood up. Not one. Mills, politicians in jail. Are you already into the fun stuff? If we could cover politicians going to jail, we'd have to slow the chat down. People would be losing their marbles. We've been waiting a long time. Maybe one day. You know, what I think is going to happen next is we're going to cover that judge getting off the hook. That's what I think is going to happen. That Judge Dugan or whatever, the Wisconsin judge that helped the illegal escape from the courthouse, somebody brought it to my attention that the same exact situation happened in 2018, and the case was dismissed, I think in 2020. I looked into it. And it's like this same exact situation. And so I really think they're going to let Judge Dugan off. And they're saying it's judicial immunity, which I think is complete nonsense. I don't think a judge helping an illegal evade ICE should be a dismissible case. Now, I definitely don't think it should deserve immunity. I appreciate you, Chris. Yeah, we need to figure out how to get in the White House press briefing room, because if Corinne can do it, we can do it. Silver Wolf. I don't know what to say about that. I didn't admit to anything, and you misspelled it, so it's all good. Snooks. I don't think Corinne is ugly, but she's probably prettier than I am. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Hold on. Is my internet doing something weird? No. There we go. Something weird's happening on the site. Yo, is it time to mow the grass? What time is it? 6:30? Oh, it's because it's going to rain. I'm like, why would you mow the grass now? Because it's going to rain. Either way, we're going to get into this next video here. And then I'm going to go close the sliders so you don't have to listen to the lawnmower. Because I'm just nice like that. Either way, like I said, this next one... Come on, lawnmower. Klaus Daniels, you ain't doing your job, buddy. You just going to let the commie lawnmower take over the live? Jesus loves us. Anyways, this next one is GOP senators sound the alarm on China spying on Americans. This is a very interesting story here. They're trying to pass a bill that is called the Stop CCP Visas Act. And they're going to tell you all about it. Like I said, this is GOP senators sounding the alarm on China spying on Americans. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
China sends nearly 300,000 students here to study annually. Some of those students reward your kindness by spying on you and stealing your technology, from drone footage of defense sites to surveillance of training exercises. These students are majoring in spying. Why do we allow it? Joining us is Florida Senator Ashley Moody, who introduced a bill to stop it. Welcome, Senator. Thank you for being with us. Tell us what your bill does, and should we cut off these visas or just do a better job of vetting the students?
Well, thank you for having me. Great to be with you, and thank you for shining a light on this. Quite frankly, I'm not convinced that all of my colleagues know that China right now, by law, requires all of their nationals to cooperate with intelligence gathering and the CCP. It's a law. It's in black and white. So, if we give visas to Chinese nationals to come here as students, and like you said, we're giving 300,000 a year to come into our universities and to come into this country, they are required by law, under penalty, some of their families have even been hauled in by the CCP, to gather intelligence and cooperate with the CCP. So why we are offering visas, why these are still being handed out, is insane at this time. I can't believe it, especially in light of a report that was released just last week but at Stanford that said it is happening right now. Some of these students came out and said, yes, they're hauling our families in. They're requiring us to cooperate. So spying is happening right here. It's by law but in China, and we are still issuing visas. It just makes no sense. It's certainly short-sighted, and for a country that values national security, we need to do something about it.
All right, Senator, I'm sure some of our viewers are wondering who vets these putative students. Is it the school itself, law enforcement, the State Department, or is there any vetting done?
Right. So presumably there's vetting done for all of these visas, but you're seeing the problems we're having at some of our universities where we have imported so many students that hate this country, hate our national policy. Actually, some of their actions undermine our foreign policy interests. We've seen that time and time again, especially in the last few years. But even more concerning is the fact that you have these laws that got passed in China in 2015, 2017. Congress in 2019 warned that operations by the CCP were in full effect, where they were recruiting students to come over here and spy. Now we have the recent report from last week that says they are indeed here and are spying. And so, having a visa, getting a student visa is not a right. It's certainly up to our State Department in this country who we allow to come into this country. And we used to take spying really seriously here in this country, if you'll remember. And so I don't think that we should be enacting policies that are serving up military modernization, intelligence, innovation to the Chinese. We know that they steal hundreds of billions of dollars worth of our intellectual property every year. Their students are getting caught on military bases with drones and cameras, gathering information, and now we have the report saying they're here and spying. So it's time we do something about it. Look, I've been a senator for 100 days, and it took me that long to figure out this is a problem and to introduce legislation. We've got to move fast, and we've got to cut it off.
Well, you are quicker than most of your colleagues. So 2 thoughts go through my mind. Number one, there are students from other countries that would give everything they have to come study in this country, and they would never do anything to harm this country. The other thing that's going through my mind is why in the world, now that we know what we know, why in the world are we not stopping it? I mean, why issue visas? As you say, it is not a right to come study here. It is a privilege.
And presumably, not every Chinese national that comes here to study wants to do that, right? I think some of this report said that they are required, they're pressured, they haul their families in, they're required by law, they will be penalized if they don't cooperate and gather intelligence. And so, I think under Biden, this was brought to their attention. Investigation was opened. They had some concern that it might be viewed as discrimination if they followed through and actually investigated intelligence gathering by Chinese nationals here, and so they closed it. Now that we have an administration in place that actually thinks through the implications of policy as it relates to the security of our nation, I think things will be different. But moving forward, we have to cut these off. As long as there are laws on the books that require them to cooperate and gather intelligence for the CCP, we cannot allow them to keep coming here on student visas. It's insane, especially as we're racking up arrests on military bases and at our universities.
All right, let me ask you one more question before I'll let you.
Okay. So we're giving out 300,000 visas a year to have China come spy on us. That's nice. Like I said, they're trying to pass this bill or whatever it is, the Stop the CCP Visas Act. China right now requires all of their nationals to cooperate with intelligence gathering. And that's, like I said, 300,000 people that come here a year on these visas. I don't know what kind of intelligence they're gathering at these campuses. Mostly just pro-Hamas students smelling like shit and being violent for no reason. But either way. Next up, well, let me check something really quick, because President Trump was supposed to be on stage 8 minutes ago. I doubt he is. Nope, not yet. So we're going to read through the chat really quick. If he does not get on stage, we'll go ahead and move forward, and we'll keep checking on things until he does get on stage. But either way, we're waiting for President Trump to participate in a Kennedy Center board dinner. And like I said, he's either going to hop on stage in a couple of minutes or we're going to move forward. But either way, I'll keep it pulled up so you won't miss President Trump. Next up, if we don't cover President Trump, we will be covering California bombing suspect ideology, one of the strangest ever, says a security analyst. This is about the bombing that took place in Southern California. An individual blew his car up. He was trying to go after this IVF center, is what they suspect. He's a very strange person. Apparently he's anti-life, making statements like, didn't want to be here. Nobody asked my consent to live or whatever. Acting very immature as he tried to hurt a bunch of people. Either way, if President Trump doesn't come up next, we'll be covering that California bombing situation that happened on Saturday. Either way, we're going to read through the chat really quick, see what you hooligans think about this senator trying to sound the alarm on Chinese spies. Here, Juicer, watch who votes against it. Absolutely. Snugs, Trump's supposed to talk at 7. Well, thank you for letting me know. The live originally said at 6:30. It still says 6:30. That's fine. Let's see, what time is it? So we got 20 minutes. I'll go ahead and wait. Thank you for letting me know, Snugs. Russell, Gaudy needs a mohawk. We all need mohawks. Zero, throw their asses in jail if they get caught here. Yeah. Maybe one day. Silver Wolf, they're going to go back to China more stupid than when they got here. That's what's going to happen for sure. Yeah, going to those campuses. Shroomish, he's a I wish I was never born kid. Exactly. I don't know how to phrase it up, but yeah, you're 100% correct on that. Metal Mouth, thank you for letting me know. I'll keep an eye on it. It's a plastic quack. Happy freedom to you. If you did it in China, they would shoot you and drop you in a ditch, no question. Yeah, we're soft on criminals here. We're soft on everything except for our own law-abiding citizens. Told to care. I spy with my little eye, dumbasses. Yep. Pumpkin, someone called Rubio about the spies. Rubio doesn't mess around. He will revoke those visas in a heartbeat. Metamouth, fuck the CCP. All day. In a bad way, too. Bill Clay, Trey Groudy has a futuristic secret agent hairstyle. It kind of looks like The Fifth Element, you know. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's like one of those hairstyles. Shroomish, how about passing a bill that keeps China and other countries from buying our land and houses? That shit's a huge problem. Absolutely. We just covered last week a bill in Texas where they're trying to give Abbott the ability to say yes or no when foreign countries are trying to purchase land, but we need a nationwide bill. Totally care. So much for No Pants Monday. I actually was having the shittiest Monday before we started the live today. I wasn't going to say anything about it, and you guys have really turned today around, but there's a reason I have pants on today. I knew things weren't going to go swimmingly. Pumpkin, thank you so much for the compliment. What's up, Bright Can? Happy freedom to you. What's up, River? Happy freedom. Thank you so much, Jack, for gifting those subs over on Rumble. You're a badass, Jack. Thank you so much. River, Bongino said Epstein didn't kill himself. Yeah, I did see that. I think that was when... Oh, I'm trying to think. No, I'm actually thinking of somebody else. I don't think it was Bongino that I saw say that. I want to say it was somebody else. Pam Bondi or something like that, but Bongino said the same thing. Yeah, you think he's controlled opposition? Metal Mouth, that's where my keyboard is communist sometimes. Did it come from China? That's how you know. Pumpkin, if we take their visas and Dems will want to save them. Yeah, you're right. Dems will say, we need to have Chinese spies here. Who else is going to spy on us, you know? What's up, Sergeant Tripod? Happy freedom to you. Ghostly, y'all wearing pants? Well, I said I got reasons, okay? I didn't want today to go this way. You guys over on the website crack me up. Snook says, you can make today better. Take off your pants and stand up, asking for a friend. Guessum says, I'm the friend. Love you guys. You guys are the best. Post Malone, I think he's doing a stream at the top of the hour. Who? Oh, you're probably talking about Rotella. I got Rotella pulled up over here. It's nothing we need to worry about till we get to the end. But I appreciate you guys reminding me. Oh, Post Malone. Happy freedom to you, Post Malone. Talking about President Trump? Yeah. I got that pulled up too. What's up, Master Meatball? Happy freedom to you. Maybe Corinne works for Dog Fancy. I don't know who she works for. I know it says it on Facebook, but I can't access Facebook through my computer because I don't have my login bullshit. So I have to check after the live when I get off, or I can hop on my phone. She works for somebody, but it's not a big news agency, I didn't think, but maybe they're affiliated. Because I want to say the news people that Corinne works for is something I've never heard of, but maybe they're affiliated with somebody else and that's what gets them in the door. But either way, I have no idea how she's a part of the White House press corps. What's up, DB Cooper? Happy freedom to you. DB Cooper, Diddy's assistant isn't being charged. It sounds like that whole Diddy case is falling apart, and I don't understand how that could be. What's up, Dictum? Happy freedom. Mills, Chinese police stations in the U.S. and Sharia law districts already in the U.S. How do you vet a student? They got to try, and that's the problem is they don't try. It's kind of like the story we're getting ready to cover with this bombing situation that happened in California. This is the first time probably ever that I've heard of some big disaster happening where the person wasn't already on the FBI watch list. A lot of times we cover these stories where somebody goes and does something really bad that hurts a lot of people or, does something dramatic. And then we find out, they've been on the police or the FBI radar for over a year or over 10 years or whatever. This guy, he was just interested in making rockets, did a little online research and went to try and blow up this IVF clinic or whatever it's called and was not on the FBI radar. And they don't even talk about how that's a problem. That should be a problem. Somebody can do something that destructive and fly under the radar until it actually happens. What's the whole point of the invasion of privacy for national security if somebody goes and self-destructs their vehicle and it was never on the FBI radar? Like, that shit doesn't make any sense to me. Captain Seamus, Hooligans After Dark. You crack me up. Hair Juicer asked Grok about Corinne. I'm not doing that on the live. God only knows what it'll say. Zero FBI list is the MK Ultra list. Yeah, that definitely could be. A list of people that they tainted themselves. Russell, ask Grok if she likes to ride the cowboy. I don't see. Remember this stuff on Saturday when we can speak openly and we don't have the communist platforms watching. Plastic Quack, I think foreign spies should be publicly flogged to death. Bring back old school punishments. We need accountability to show up before we can decide what kind of accountability they get. But yeah, I mean, you're on the right page there. Pumpkin, I always wear pants, but no bra. I don't always wear pants, but I never wear bras. So we're in the same boat there, Pumpkin. No, but we're against bras over here. It's real oppression. Metalmouth, I have an iPhone. Sometimes it'll say things I don't type and doesn't say things I do type. Figure that one out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust those iPhones. I mean, I don't trust any of these gadgets, but I really don't trust Apple products. Metamouth. A little peek here and there. You gotta be quick. You never know. DB Cooper, O'Keefe Media Group has new footage of Epstein Temple. I don't know if I've seen that. I seen that he showed the picture or whatever that was in the kitchen. The picture has some, like a baby taking a bath or something like that in the sink. I can't really remember. Some weird picture that was in the kitchen. But I haven't seen any of his videos since that released. I'll check it out after the live. Sam, shirt cocking. Yeah, exactly. Shirt cocking it. All right, hooligans, we're going to move forward, and then I'm going to pull up the Trump live, and we'll start waiting on President Trump. But like I said, this next one is California bombing suspect ideology is one of the strangest ever. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick, if you would like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. So you got to go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat. And like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops. And your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We got chapstick emojis, scream and goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's get this pulled up here. Now, they're saying that this is the biggest bombing to ever happen in Southern California. They don't just say the whole state. They say Southern California, which makes me suspicious how many bombings happen in California. But either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
And we do want to bring in News Nation national security analyst and retired Marine intelligence officer, also the host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kempfer. Hal, thanks so much for joining us on this tonight.
Thank you, Natasha.
And you've seen the damage. The FBI calling this the largest bombing ever in Southern California. You were actually the primary counterterrorism trainer for public safety in SoCal for about a decade. You're very familiar with this area. Why do you think the suspect chose this location, and what's going through your mind on this investigation?
Natasha, there's a couple things. One is location. He lived in 29 Palms, reportedly lived with his mother out there. His father said he hadn't seen him in a decade, so he was basically estranged from his father, is what it sounds like. And he was kind of a not I don't know, antisocial maybe, but he lived in kind of an online world. He was tied to a young lady that was up in the Pacific Northwest, and somehow in their discussions, this what he calls pro-mortalist, this anti-life sort of philosophy developed. She was reportedly dead or killed in a assisted suicide, and they had a pact that he was going to kill himself, and this was probably part of his self-actualization by doing this. But he was also aimed at the IVF clinic because he was anti-life, and he felt that basically anyone bringing life into this world was wrong. He felt the world was overpopulated. It's one of the strangest, I guess you could say, single issue domestic terrorist movements I've ever seen. Pretty darn small, but in this online world, these very disparate individuals are somehow able to link up.
These details are so disturbing. And as you're describing them, I mean, in your mind and with your experience in this world, do you think that his intended target was the IVF doctor and staff and patients there, or was it the embryos themselves?
Well, it was definitely the clinic, and I would say inclusive with his thinking was to destroy what was in the clinic. Now, fortunately, whereas it was a pretty big bomb, and those who have been looking at this said he obviously kind of knew what he was doing in making a bomb, but he clearly didn't understand placement of the explosive, thank goodness. And it did not destroy the laboratory or the lab setting with the embryos. And so what he ended up doing was basically killing himself. He injured some people outside, but he didn't seriously injure or kill anybody inside the clinic. But yeah, it was pretty much, there's a website that's associated with him, not by name, still part of the investigation, that they believe was his. And it was very clear that he was aiming at this particular clinic.
I mean, as you're piecing together exactly what happened here, it is striking because, I mean, it's this 250-yard debris field. We understand that, I mean, debris found in people's yards, people's houses, and an extraordinary amount of damage here. The question, how could he have gotten the materials to inflict this amount of damage, while on the other hand, potentially not doing the research to understand where to understand the internal layout of this fertility clinic to inflict the most damage, attempting to do a live stream as well. I mean, how do you reconcile these different pieces of information in your mind?
Well, the investigation is going to show a lot of this, Natasha, but obviously he got a lot of this information. Apparently when he was a kid, he did model rockets, and his father had said he did things like set off smoke bombs and things like that. So he had an interest in explosive devices, incendiary devices for quite some time. So putting together a bomb like this, you can find how to do that online. And he put together a big bomb. Now, what he may have done is he may have done a lot of the research, the what we call the reconnaissance, if you will, the surveillance of the facility. He may have done a lot of that online. He may not have actively gone into the facility. So he may have thought he parked where it was going to do the most damage, but he didn't do that. There's also another possibility, and they're trying to figure this out. He'd set up a tripod, and he was trying to live stream this entire event. It didn't upload, and it appears there's some sort of mistake, but it's possible, they don't know yet, but it's possible that this detonation, the timing of it was actually before he was ready. So it could have been he was doing some things and hadn't quite completed his entire plan, and the explosive goes off. And that does happen with suicide bombers, happens with jihadists, it happens with other terrorists as well.
Okay, Hal Kempfer, really appreciate the expertise you brought to bear tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, talking about the explosion that happened in California, obviously. They're saying it's the largest bombing to happen in Southern California. The suspect is being considered anti-life. They think the clinic was the target because it's a place considered to create life. They think he got the materials and knowledge to cause the explosion by using the internet and his interest in model rockets that he has been interested in since he was a kid. He was trying to live stream the event, and they think the explosion may have gone off earlier than expected. And I thought it was funny how they're like, yeah, this happens to jihadists and shit. And it's like, well, damn. Like, and that made me think, because I never really considered any of this stuff. I'm not in the military, never have been or anything like that. But I never thought about, you think about those terrorists in the Middle East and stuff, and how they have roadside bombs and stuff, trying to get our military to drive over the IED and have it, explode or whatever. Never really thought about them trying to make an explosive device that actually went off early. Right, I just personally have never thought of that. So it's kind of humorous that they brought that up. You imagine some jihadist, some dirty terrorist asshole out there sneaking around, and then all of a sudden the explosive self-destructs before expected, ruining their whole plan, ruining their face, all that kind of stuff. That seems pretty humorous. Either way, the fact that this guy tried to live stream it is pretty wild. As if the explosion wasn't going to be a big enough statement. He wanted to live stream the whole thing. He's over there. I imagine he's over there with the tripod. He's dicking around with the camera and all of that. And then the explosion goes off and he's like, what the fuck? I didn't expect that. As somebody that tries to live stream in public every once in a while, it is a pain in the ass to try and set up a live stream from your phone. That is the most stupidest shit ever. I don't know why it's so difficult, but it is. So they're like, yeah, he was struggling to set up a live stream. I was like, yeah, I've been there. Like, never would I try to blow anything up, but man, I understand the frustration of setting up a live stream. Holy. Very weird. Very weird. Some skinny little dorky ass kid tried to cause a mass casualty event. He failed, thank God. But the like I said before we started the video, I think the craziest thing is that he went and researched this stuff. He was able to put the explosive, to make his car explode and all of that shit, and never hit the FBI radar. I thought for sure if you look up how to explode things, you would end up on the radar. You're going to get a knock on the door. I've been told that my whole life. I don't know if that was just fake news or what, but how do you go and do that and nobody knew you were going to do that? But they're constantly infringing on our right to privacy The NSA has come out and said they watch us on our cameras, they read our texts, they listen to our phone calls, they watch us on the internet, they track our phones by GPS. They are constantly monitoring us and infringing on our right to privacy for national security is what they say. It's been that way since 9/11 and it's probably been that way even longer than then. But they definitely have come out in the open and admitted multiple times in public, national television, they spy on us all the damn time, but it's supposed to be for the greater good. You know, kind of like when they told everybody to get on the train out in Germany. It's for the greater good. All that's going on, but never caught the guy who was actually putting together explosives to blow his car up. That never registered. That seems pretty fucking weird to me. I don't know. I feel like they've been lying to us for the last 30 years about how like airtight our security is. We got a wide open border. We got 25 million strangers. We got 300,000 spies that come from China every year. And then we got this 25-year-old dumbass that lives with mom and somehow blew his car up without the FBI ever knowing. I don't know. I don't think things are as safe as they try to make us believe. Either way, next up, we got the last little bit of the news. Let me pull up this Trump live really quick so we can monitor when he gets on stage, because it's got to be soon. It's getting to be around that time. We'll go ahead and put this in the background as we read through the chat. If President Trump doesn't get on stage, we'll give him a couple minutes. But if it takes him a while to get on stage, we'll go ahead and move forward. This last little bit of the news is Lefties losing it. This one's titled Curious Timing of Biden's Cancer Diagnosis. Like I said, one or the other, we're either going to watch Trump or we got Lefties losing it. And then after that, we'll be getting into the fun stuff. You guys know. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about that California bombing situation. Zero. Oh, you just got the notification thing? Yeah, I just implemented those notifications. We had it for a long time, but they weren't working correctly, and I didn't want to dick with it. And so there's some changes going on the website. We're going to have a brand new merch store pretty soon, very soon. It's actually already there. I just have it hidden from everybody. Our hooligan chips are about to be rolled out. We're going to have hooligan chips, which is cool. And all of you guys that are pre-existing on the website prior to the rollout of hooligan chips, you guys will be gifted free hooligan chips. The notification system is new. Now you can tell when people are engaging with your post. New people have posted in groups that you're a part of, things like that. And, you know, trying to keep the website fantastic. Either way, I'm glad you guys are digging it. Russell, I'm not going to read that out loud, but I'm sure you do know things. Guess I don't know about the chip clips. I asked Alistair about it. Alistair is busy. He's got a lot of stuff going on in the background. I told him that we're eagerly waiting on the chip clips, and I will let you guys know. Silver Wolf burner phone. Yeah, that could be. It still seems like they would have been able to get him, though. He's on a burner phone. He looks up. How do you do bad things? You'd think, bam, right there, they'd flag him. They'd track his GPS. They'd be like, there's a 25-year-old tard sitting on the corner of Mainstream and Bumfucker, and he's looking up bad stuff. You know, you would think it'd be that quick, but I guess not. Russell, well, Ahmed, the dead terrorist, had a premature explosion. You're right. I forgot about that. I forgot about Ahmed. Hair juicer. He likes smoke bombs. Every 12-year-old in the country is on the list. Yeah, hair juicer. I bet there is problems like that are funny that we don't realize. Guess some. Oh my god. This is hilarious. Bam. Guess some to Grok. Guess some says, how do I compare the average male penis? Grok says, I'm not programmed to hurt people's feelings. Guess some. Fuck you, Grok. Yes. That is hilarious. Holy. Russell, a VBIED, vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. Yeah, it's not good. I don't know how they didn't catch him. Zero, maybe the guy went to the library and read real books? That could be. That could be. Shroomish, hooligan chips. What flavor are they? How are you selling chips with no chip clips? Nah, we're not selling the chips yet. We gotta get the chip clips out there. Yeah, too old to care. I forgot about Jeff Dunham's Ahmed. Crit Kiss made a yummy chicken salad over the weekend, and I think it was taken to go for lunches. Well, I could definitely use a chicken salad sandwich. I know that. Sounds good. I'm starving. What are we going to eat for dinner? Cat. That's what's for dinner. Mm-hmm. What's up, Neon Love Machine? Happy freedom to you. Metal Mouth, I'm a leftovers demolisher. I don't eat leftovers. I don't trust it for some reason. The only leftovers I'll eat is cold pizza. Neurodivergent. I search some weird shit sometimes, looking for links during shows and such. I guess I'm cooked. Yeah, that's me. I do the same thing. I'm constantly Googling stuff, and every once in a while, these hooligans will trick me, have me look up something I ain't supposed to. Looking at Spider Wiener, or you never know. You never know. Neon Love Machine. The government knows when you spank it. That's why you got to look right into the camera of your phone. That's you got to do it just like that. Make eye contact with your Fed boy. Plastic Whack, what did he use? That's a big boom. Yeah, they don't tell us. I guess they want us to Google it. Guess some Klaus wants Haitian food. Yeah. Meta, facial recognition, gunshot technology, but the shit still goes on. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. What's up, Travel Crew? Happy freedom to you. Master Meatball, it should not take 2 days to put a computer together. Just saying. Sorry to hear that, Master Meatball. I know what you're talking about. That sucks. One time I was trying to transfer my operating system, my pre-existing installation, to a new computer. It took me 9 days to figure out why I couldn't transfer from one hard drive to the other. And it was because you can't transfer one size hard drive to the same size hard drive, or you couldn't back then. And it took me 9 days to figure that out, where I was working like 10 hours a day to figure out why I could not get this computer to work. I feel your frustration. What's up, Ray? Happy freedom. Trump's on Fox. Interesting. I will go check it in a second if Right Side Broadcasting doesn't pull it up. What's up, Amy? Happy freedom to you. Shenanigans. I thought the border was closed. How is the numbers going up? What numbers? I haven't heard of anybody coming across the border. The only numbers I hear of people coming across the border are people being arrested for trespassing on that military property. Otherwise, I haven't heard of any border numbers. Mills, no virgins for him. Yeah. Well, let's check Fox. I don't know why Fox would be showing it, but Right Side Broadcasting is not. The Times Now thing is not real. Those are fake channels. I bet that's what you're looking at. I bet you're looking at the fake Fox. They got fake NBC. They got fake Fox. Like all these channels right here, these are all fake channels. And they all got the authentic mark. See, they're all verified. but they're not real. Look at this. They got Trump talking in 3 different locations. These are all live. They're all the same channel. They're all verified by YouTube, and they're all fake as shit. All of these are. These are all fake channels here. But they're all verified. So they look like they're real. And then YouTube has the nerve to demonetize me. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's all bullshit. Anyways, reading through. We'll give him a couple more minutes. If he's not on stage in a couple more minutes, we'll go ahead and move into Lefties losing it. Guess I have a 2 terabyte portable drive, makes life easy. Yeah, I think I had a 500 gigabyte hard drive, and I was trying to transfer onto another 500 gigabyte hard drive, and it wouldn't let me. And it wasn't telling me why. It was just giving me an error message. And I upgraded to a terabyte and transferred the 500 gigabytes to a 1 terabyte, and realized that it was like getting over. It was like 500.1 gigabytes, and that's what was preventing it from transferring onto the new hard drive. I don't really have those problems now, but I had to go through 9 days to learn that those problems exist. Zero, YouTube's fake, that's why? Yeah, you're 100% correct. Captain Seamus, Pam Bondi still has way too many anti-Americans inside the DOJ and the U.S. District Attorney's Office. They literally are having to tell them to stop cases that they know goes against the current administration. Yeah. Well, like I said, eventually accountability will have to come back, and then maybe we'll be covering politicians being arrested. What's up, Gio? Happy freedom to you. Is it go time? It kind of looks like it's about go time here. Maybe not quite yet. I think there's Christy Nome. Has she got a collar on? She's a naughty girl if she does. That'd be something else. Could you imagine Christy Nome came out with a collar on? It says baddie on it or something. Dang, girl. Neon Love Machine. I believe I'm the reason why there's no longer a White House chat. They don't put the chat on for the White House lives. They did when Trump first got inaugurated. That's interesting if they cut it off. Snooks, that looks like my kitchen right there. It literally looks. That's what I look like cooking food, dancing and all. Russell, time to bust out the leash. Mm-hmm. What's up, Bull Moose? Happy freedom to you. Master Meatball can't get the video up. Are we not live on Twitch? We should be. Oh, we're live. Just having a day, Master Meatball. I understand. What are these guys talking about? They're all zoomed in on their face. Is that Scam Bondi? Yeah. I always try to look at these people's phones because they're all waving their phones around. So I try to look like, see Pornhub or something on their screen. You never know. This woman's got a reflective phone case. That's interesting. Well, let's hear what these people are talking about.
Just that, and President Trump adding not only, I believe, his donations, but looking to raise money in private funds to make the Kennedy Center great once again. And how special will that be, especially for Secretary Kennedy, to see that happen, as it is a building not only honoring his family with their name, but his late great uncle, JFK, the 35th president of the United States. And how interesting is it to see the policies?
I thought that guy had a powdered wig on at first. I was about to say, I should put one on my wish list.
Very similar. It's about tax cuts. It's relief for the middle class. It's not necessarily conservative nor liberal, but more populist in nature. Also, a strong national security, having the ability to use all of it, but as a last result, with every option on the table. President Trump has been very clear in that message of peace through strength, as was President Kennedy back in the 1960s. And the famous speech before his untimely passing, talking about that true pursuit of peace.
Okay. Told to care, do you think Bondi and Cash are smashing? Probably. I bet the people on Capitol Hill just have nasty orgies. I don't know. They're all weird. Oh, is it go time? Everybody's standing up and go, oh, there he is. There's the man himself. All right, hooligans, hit that like button and grab the URL for whichever platform is your favorite. Go share it out on social media. That way everyone can hear from the president.
This is the great Steve Wynn. Hi, Steve. Hello, everybody. What a group of good friends. We're going to bring this place back. It's not so good. I thought it was going to be this beautiful. I hadn't been there in a while. I said, this is going to be beautiful. It's not looking too good. But we're going to bring it back. Why don't we sit down, tell you about our day. Should I tell you about the day first? Yeah. My little conversation with a nice gentleman named Vladimir Putin. But we had a good talk, and I think that progress is being made. 5,000 young soldiers are being killed every single week on average. Can you believe 5,000? And it's actually a number probably worse than that, in addition to other people that are being killed in towns. And we're trying to stop it. It's a bloodbath. It's an absolute bloodbath. I've seen satellite pictures that are so bad, so horrible, and that's to think that in this day and age we're living with this horrible thing that's going on, and we're doing the best we can. This was not our war. This was not me. We're doing something from the last administration. How they allowed that to happen? It wouldn't have happened. It would have never happened. And you know, the Ukraine-Russia wouldn't have happened. But I'll tell you what else wouldn't have happened. October 7th would not have happened. This was a terrible thing also. A lot of bad things happened in the last 4 years. But good things are happening now. We had a tremendous visit in the Middle East. We went to Qatar. We saw Saudi Arabia, all the top people in UAE. And we brought back about $5.1 trillion. That's not bad. That's not bad. And it's being credited as one of maybe the most successful visit that anybody's ever made to any place. There's never been anything like this. Hundreds of planes, big wide-body planes ordered. Boeing, getting them from Boeing, but I think an order of 148 planes. That's a lot of 777s. Those are the big ones, or the 787 Dreamliners, and orders of everything. The AI is going wild. I hope it's as good as people say, because otherwise some people are going to be pretty disappointed. But it seems like it is. A lot of smart people are doing it. But massive orders into our country. We did 1.4 trillion in one case. We did 2 trillion in another case. Numbers that nobody's ever really heard of before. And our relationship is fantastic with those three beautiful places. I mean, they're incredible. Money is like no place else, probably anywhere. Well, we have more money, but we didn't use it right. But that's all right. Now we're starting to. We were losing in trade $5 billion a day, and now because of tariffs and other things, we're making $1 billion a day, and the tariffs haven't even really kicked in. It's a big difference. It was for the last 4 years have been a disaster for us with trade and, frankly, with everything else. So we're here for a different reason tonight. We're going to have to fix this one too. We're fixing everything. We're going around Mr. Fix-It, Mrs. Fix-It. Anybody want to join me? But the Kennedy Center, when I said I'll do this, I hadn't been there. That's the last time I'll take a job without looking at it. And but it's got a tremendous amount. Lindsey Graham and some people put in the budget either 200 or $250 million. Money was spent there. Tremendous amounts of money was spent there over the last 10 years. I don't know where they spent it. They certainly didn't spend it on wallpaper, carpet, or painting. And they had over $200 million was spent. So I don't know what's going on. Pam, are you here? You hear that? Look, when I hear that, I say, what? Where, Pam, where did all this money go? It's crazy. It's crazy what's happened with our country in that regard. You know, it's to build things. Go back to the Woolman rink. They went for years, 12 years without getting in a rink, and I got it built in 3 months for a fraction, like a tiny fraction. They had spent over $20 million. They never got it opened. I said, I want my kids to go ice skating before they're too old. They don't want to go ice skating anymore. I used to watch it from my window. I used to watch people, nobody working, and spending money like crazy. And as you know, I got it built very quickly. This is a well, maybe a more difficult. That was pretty easy, actually. That was pretty. We had cement mixers from the rink all the way back into Harlem. We poured one contiguous pour over a period of a day and a half. They would pour a little section, then another little section, and when they put water, it all leaked. Surprisingly, you know. So it was fun. But I love construction. That's, I guess, why I like this a little, because we're going to have to redo it. So I'm honored to welcome exceptionally talented and committed group of patriots. You're amazing people. This is an amazing board, I'll tell you. And I got so many calls from people, could I get on the board? You have a lot of people that are not so much in love with me right now because I couldn't get them on the board. But because the board is taken. But we're going to turn it around, and the Kennedy Center Board of Trustees, you're here, and in many cases you have your spouses. And I want to thank Rick Grinnell. Where's Rick? Where is Rick? Hello, Rick. He did a great job. He used to walk into the Justice Department with stuff under showing all the horrible things that had gone on in our country. He had a lot of courage, and he's going to be with me for a long time, different things. He seems to be a troubleshooter. I say, how about Kennedy Center? Let's fix that one up. And tremendous strides have been made. You'll be hearing about that in a second. But I want to thank the entire board for the incredible work and all the fundraising efforts. We're going to raise some funds, but we're getting a lot of funds also from Congress because they want to see this thing good. You know, we have the 250th year anniversary coming up, and this building is going to be a primary focus in D.C., and it's got the potential for greatness. If it didn't, I wouldn't have done it. But it has a great plan. It's got great sound. It's got a lot of things that, you know, if you don't have good sound, you can forget it. You're never going to. They've been trying to do things over at the at Lincoln Center. All my life I've been watching. They rip it down, build it up, rip it down. You know, some of the greatest sound of buildings built in the 1850s out of pure marble. And you get up and you can just talk lightly and they hear you back 100 rows. But and if you don't have sound, I think there's a certain amount of luck. You hire sound engineers, they get a lot of money, and then you open the building and you can't hear anything. So we're going to do some good things, but the basics are there. The location is phenomenal. The importance of the building is phenomenal. And we'll have some very interesting plans. I always thought they should have built a beautiful performing center, open air, facing out over the Potomac. They didn't do that. They built these crazy rooms underneath. They built 3 tiny little stages, very expensive. Someday maybe somebody will occupy one. They're underground. In fact, when I looked from a distance, you know, you see these like hubs, concrete hubs, and I thought it was modern art. You know, well, here we go with the modern art blocking everybody's view. And when I actually went over there, I said, no, it wasn't modern art. It was meant for a door to be in, so you go down to these rooms. So I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they spent a lot of money, and it's just not possible that they could have spent it so poorly. But we're going to turn it around. That's what I love doing. I love turning things around, turnaround artist. I'm doing that with the country. Believe me, we're doing it. We're doing a job. We are hot. We are hot. The country is hot. We in a short period. Look, we've been there for 100 days plus a few days, and as they said, the king of Saudi Arabia said, your place, your country is a whole different image now. We were a laughing stock, an absolute laughing stock, but we're not a laughing stock any longer. And, I was talking to, as I said, President Putin for 2.5 hours. That was being very seriously listened to. We don't like what's happening. We don't like that we should have ever been involved. Would have never happened. But we're respected again as a country. One thing that I tell you that I think is amazing, if you remember about 8 months ago, the big story was that nobody wants to join our military. We couldn't have any, people weren't joining. And they weren't proud of our country. They weren't joining police forces all over the country, Houston, Dallas, all over the country, New York. And now we have a record-setting enlistment in the military. Think of that, record-setting. The most in 38 years, but it's probably more than that. They started taking the numbers, Susie, 38 years ago, right? But the most in 30 years, probably the most ever, I don't know. But we have record-setting young people that want to join the military, and that's incredible. To have that is just absolutely incredible. And to think that 8 months ago we were all listening to the fact that this was before the election. 8 months ago we were listening to the fact that we wouldn't have any, we wouldn't have anybody in our military. I mean, nobody. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force. I'm so proud of Space Force because we got that going. We started Space Force and they wanted to terminate it, and the military backed up. And they said, you're not going to do that. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot. They've done a great job. They had some great commanders in Space Force. But, ultimately it's going to be truly one of the most important things we've ever done because it's all heading to space. And I'm not talking about just experimental things that we do because a lot of people don't understand that. We can understand that. But we're, in terms of defense and offense of our country, it's going to be very, very important. We're number one in space by a long shot. The Kennedy Center mission is to be the crown jewel of the arts and culture in our nation's capital. And under our new leadership, we're going to take this revered institution to heights that it's never seen before. I think we can take this to really because we have the right place. We have all the politicians, and then we have the people that want to get to know the politicians for lots of bad reasons. And, we have everybody here. They have to be here for something, sometime. I've got total confidence in the great team that Rick and the group have put together. Sergio's done fantastically. We're especially pleased to be joined tonight by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, great guy. Great guy. Where is Marco? He's great. I'm telling you, he was born for this. He loves it. You see him, he's in one country, another country. I think he loves it. But he's so respected everywhere he goes, and I know how tough he is because I used to have to be up there with him. He was not nice. He was a tough one. He was as good as you get. I didn't know that we would end up being this close. We like each other. I think I can speak for him. I can speak for myself, but I like him, and he's done a fantastic job, and he's really, really working. And we're getting relationships that we lost that were very important for us in many ways. And so I want to thank Marco, and Marco's on the board, Attorney General Pam Bondi, who I've known so long, and she's married to the best looking guy in the room, I must admit. But she is the man. She has been amazing. She's so respected, and she's really delving into some tough territory. She sees what's happened and what's going to happen, and she knows before anybody else. She's just a fantastic person. She's got a great staff that's surrounding her, and I think she's just a star. But I've known that for a long time. I'm not surprised at all. So thank you very much, Pam, for the job you do. And by the way, she was the Attorney General of Florida, so she had plenty for a long time and never had a problem. I can't remember a problem. And she kept everybody safe, and they felt very secure. Now she's doing it on an even bigger. Who would have thought it would have been a much bigger level, right? But she gets it. Secretary Howard Lutnick is here with his wife Allison, and he's great. He went with us to that incredible 4-day little journey that we had, and We saw some things that were incredible, but everybody respects him. Did a great job in business. He built a firm twice. You know, his firm was at the top of the World Trade Center when the planes hit, and he was amazing story. He was always Allison. Good job. You got him to take your boy, right? Years ago on that horrible date, when you think of it. So Howard would always be. He was built Cantor Fitzgerald, and he built it in a very top firm. They had the top 3 floors of the World Trade Center, the building, the first building that was hit. And he was always there at 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. You know, a lot of the stock guys, they have to do that. Someday you'll explain to me why. Probably insider trading, Pam. I don't know. It's probably. But whatever the hell reason, he was there always at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. And first time ever, like almost ever, his wife was after him for years to take their son to school. He was a young boy, very young, like early grades, and he would say, no, I can't. This was years after like 2 or 3 years of being harassed by Allison. It was very tough. A great wife, beautiful wife, but she's very, very tough. And finally, he did it. He took his boy, and it was on that day, and he dropped the boy off at 8:30 and started driving down the West Side Highway, and he would have been in that building, and every single person died in your firm. He had lost everybody. And with the exception of a few people in Europe and maybe a couple of other places, small, because they were all very New York-centric, and every single one of them died, including your brother. And what he did was incredible, actually. He rebuilt the firm, and he gave a percentage of it for years to the people, the families of the people that died. And the new firm became more successful than the old firm, using the same name, Cantor Fitzgerald, and he rebuilt it step by step by step. And I mean, to me, that's why I said I have to get this guy if I have a chance, if I ever do. And he was very happy. They were doing great. They were doing record business. But when I said, how about coming over to commerce, a little thing called commerce, and now I don't think you could ever go back into that world because it's so big. He and Scott are in charge of, along with others that are great, but they're in charge of the biggest deal ever made in history. It's the whole tariffs. We've taken in trillions of dollars, trillions. And we've been hurt very badly by other countries that did this to us for 20, 25 years. They were taking advantage of us. We never did anything. But now we're doing it to them, and fairly, I'll tell you what, modestly. But we'll be taking, and we are taking in right now, 25% in cars, 25% on steel and aluminum, 25% on other things, and that'll be going up to 50, 75, maybe 100 in some cases. We have to get our pharmaceutical industry back. Once we establish that in another couple of weeks, it'll start roaring back. It's already roaring back because they know we're doing it. And it's really been, you've done a great job. But he said to me the other day, this is so big. These numbers are big. Cantor Fitzgerald doesn't look so big anymore. We see numbers, we talk in the trillions now. Think of it, $5.1 trillion. Nobody talks, but we're talking big numbers, and he's doing a great job. He did a great job before. Chief of Staff, Susie Welsh, she's considered the most powerful woman anywhere in the world. She is. She's the most powerful woman in the world. A lot of people are saying that, but she had a couple of articles, and I said, you know, it's actually true. She can wipe out a country with just a mere phone call. Think of it. That's the end of the country. But she's great. She's been, I mean, I knew because we won Florida 3 times and won it. You know, Florida didn't used to be a red state. It was a blue state. When I first ran, that was a blue state. And now it's a seriously red state. And it got more and more, and we're going to keep it that way. But Susie ran it, and we won by a landslide, and a Republican hadn't won. You know, you had a Democrat senator, you had 2 Democrat senators, but you had a Democrat governor, you had a lot of Democrats. And so we won in a landslide. I said, good. Then the next time I won again in a much bigger landslide, and anybody I endorsed also won. And I said, that's good. And then when it came time to do this, after the election was rigged, the second one was rigged, whether you like it or not, it was rigged like nobody's ever seen, and now people are seeing it. Now people don't even fight me. You know, they used to say, sure, it's not really that nice to say. I'm an honest, it was rigged, and unfortunately that's what happened. They'd look at some of the things that happened. All of these things would have never happened. But when it came time to thinking about doing it again, I didn't think I'd have to do that. I said, you know, I think I'm going to take that woman, my friend now, but at the time I didn't know her. Her father was Pat Summerall, who was a great football player, was probably a greater announcer for 28 years for the NFL. But that tells me, you know, because I'm a big believer in the genes, person's genes. And Susie was, I said, you know, let's use Susie. She did a great job in Florida for me twice. We beat every Democrat by numbers that they never saw before. I said, let's use, and she took over and she did great. Chris was fantastic, but she had a group of people that she brought with her. And there was no looking back. We started off leading by a lot, and it only got bigger and bigger and bigger. We had a couple of challenges that didn't work out too well. Worked out well for us, but Susie was fantastic. And now she's the chief of staff of the president, and she really makes it work. And she's the first woman, this is shocking to me, because, you know, I thought we were beyond that. First woman chief of staff in the history of the country, right? And she's doing a great job, and you know those men are scared. She sits in the back of the room. She watches them like this. She doesn't want publicity. She doesn't want to be on camera. She doesn't want stories. But they're up there yapping, 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 and if they start yapping the wrong way, it's not pleasant for them. She's great. And we have a friend of mine, a man that I endorsed, and he proudly went through the roof, Jeff Landry, governor of Louisiana. Did my endorsement mean much? When I endorsed you, he became a rocket ship, right? We avoided, what I say it?
We won in the first round.
Yeah, it was good. We didn't want to run. We didn't want to go a second round. He went up and won everything, and he's a great governor, great attorney general, great governor. So it's great to have you. And we have so many people here that we're not going to do that, but we may play around in a little while because we're going to have some fun tonight, and we'll talk about this, but we'll talk about other things. But we might talk about some of the questions you may have. We're looking to get the one great, big, beautiful bill. It will be the greatest tax cuts in history. If we don't get it, that means the Democrats will have stopped us, and that means people will get a 68% tax increase, the largest in history. And if we do get it, we're going to have the largest tax decrease in history. And all my life, I've watched politicians screaming, we will cut your taxes. This is the only group where they say, we're going to raise your taxes, and they think they're going to win. There's something wrong with them. I don't know what the hell is going on. We're going to raise your taxes. And people say, that's strange. I've never heard it before. When we took over in recent months, the Kennedy Center was in dire shape. As I saw on my tour a few weeks ago, the building is falling apart. I don't want to scare people. It's in fine shape, but it's falling apart. That means, you know, we have to see, you know, we have Les Mis. We're opening up with Les Mis and some other things. We have Mrs. Fisher here, and she said, you know what works? Anything Broadway. So we're signing Phantom of the Opera. We're signing a lot of great Broadway, and we'll have them run for a while. And I think you're going to do very well. But it's been neglected very badly, and it needs an infusion of different things, including probably funds. But I think we're going to do very well when we get some money from Congress to fix it, because it's so important. The previous leadership wasted millions and millions of dollars and handed us a budget deficit of $26 million. Can you believe that? In addition, the programming was out of control with rampant political propaganda, DEI, and inappropriate shows. We had some very inappropriate shows, to put it very nicely. They had dance parties for, quote, queer and trans youth. And I guess that's all right for certain people, quote. And I'm just quoting, I'm not saying it. Queer and trans youth. That wasn't working out too well. They had a Marxist anti-police performance, and they had lesbian-only Shakespeare, which is different. Who thinks of these ideas, really? It's different. It's different. Oh, we're bringing our country back so fast. The military is so much better. Everything, it's just gone. They had people who were paying them $400,000 or $500,000 a year to teach DEI. Just 12 weeks, our new board has balanced the budget. Think of that in 2026 budget. That's a pretty good job you've done. So that's amazing. So the 2026, I told you it was 25 million under. It's balanced now for the fiscal year. Eliminated DEI initiatives in all cases. Brought back family-friendly programming that will attract large audiences once again, and launched a plan to renovate the building and reclaim the grandeur as a landmark, really a Washington landmark, which it always was. The Kennedy Center will also play an important role in our national celebration to commemorate the 250th anniversary of America's founding. So we have three really big. We have that. We have the 250th anniversary of America's founding. That's a big deal. And we have the Olympics, and we have the World Cup. And, you know, maybe I got lucky because I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. I did nothing to help the 250th anniversary, because if I take credit for that one, then you'll say, I think he's exaggerating. But two of the three, I absolutely, I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup. And I said to myself when I got them, it was my first term I got them, President Obama would not take the calls from the Olympic Committee, refused to take the calls. And I think because he traveled to Oslo or wherever he went, and very far away, in order to get the Olympics, the previous Olympics. And I said, well, that's great. That means we got it, because what president would travel to come in fourth place, which is what we came in, fourth place. And so he was so angry he wouldn't take the call. So I got a call from, at the time, the mayor of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is not looking too good with what the water. We just sent so much water down their way. They didn't want to take it because it was bad for the environment. I said, no, water's good for the environment. They would have had it when I told them to get it. They wouldn't have had the fires, or it would have been very small. But we took so much, and we were looking at the Olympics. We were looking at other things, and Obama went there, and all that travel, all that everything. And think, who would go there unless you know the answer? You have to know the answer. You can't be embarrassed as president. No president's ever done that. And I give him credit. He went, but he should have known the answer. That's called deal making. And he didn't. And they put him at fourth. And he was so angry that it hurt his whole thing. He didn't want to talk to anybody. So I got a call from the mayor, and he said, sir, you're the president-elect. I was president-elect at the time. The president will not speak to the Olympic Committee. And I understand that, but a little bit his fault, I guess. He was very embarrassed by that. And I said, I'll speak to him. And I spoke to this gentleman who was obviously Scandinavian, seriously Scandinavian, and very nice. I couldn't get him off the phone because he was so starved for love. He just kept, I must have had him for 2 hours. I couldn't. I said, sir, I have to go. I'm president-elect. Yes. All I said to him, yes, 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 we will take good care. They wanted to know that if they choose us for the Olympics, will we treat them nicely? And I said, we're going to treat you like so well, like you've never been treated. And then he wanted to talk about anything because nobody would talk to him. Now he talks to me. And we got the Olympics, and then we got through Johnny, who's the boss. He's a friend of mine. We got the World Cup. I got them both. And I said, man, I won't be president. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president. And they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it because, you know, a little bit, that's the way life is. And then they rigged the election. And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass.
We need that sound bite immediately.
I then realized, I said, you know what? I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th. Look at the way this works out. So if they would have left us alone and wouldn't have cheated on the election and wouldn't have rigged it, I would have been retired right now. I would have been happily doing something else. And instead, they have me for 4 more years. Can you believe it? Yeah. So it has been. So instead of putting forward programming that tears our country down and tears our country apart, the Kennedy Center should be the nation's premier venue for lifting up the best of our country and lifting up the American arts, theater, music, and culture. And together, it's really an honor to be with. I mean, I have so many friends on the board. This is a hot board, just like we have a hot country. You know, we have a hot country. Our country was stone cold 8 months ago. It all began on November 5th. Does everybody know that that was election day? And from that moment on, and then January 20th came, and what we've done, we have almost no inflation. Our energy prices are way down. Our gasoline costs are way down. Groceries are way down. Eggs. Remember, they hit me with eggs my first week. Sir, the fake news, those people right there, they're saying, sir, eggs have gone through the roof. They were doubling and tripling eggs. I said, I don't know what I've just got here, excuse me. And through she's done a great job, Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture. Anyway, the prices came down. They didn't want us to, we had the egg roll here a couple of weeks ago for Easter. They didn't want us to order eggs. They wanted the eggs to be made out of plastic. They wanted plastic. I said, I'm not going to do that. But by the time it came around, the egg prices are way down. The groceries are way down. Everything's way down. We are just doing great. I mean, think of it, no inflation. And we're taking in billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs we never did before. We got a hot country right now. We have a country that people are proud to be a part of. So we're going to honor the legacy of President Kennedy, his great legacy, and we'll create the best and most beautiful home for the performing arts anywhere in the country and many other things also. I want to thank you again. We're going to have some fun working together. We're going to make this a fun project. That's what I thought until I walked into the building. I said, this won't be the fun I thought, but it is fun. I like to create. You like to create. Most of the people in the room like to create, just like Bob Kraft created the New England Patriots. He happens to be here. And he tells me he has a great new quarterback, so we're going to see. You know, a lot of people make that statement. We're going to find out, but I have a feeling you're going to be right. You've been right about a lot of things, but he was right about Tom Brady, right? He got him almost the last draft choice in the last round, sixth round, whatever it was. How did he work out, Tom Brady? Okay? Not bad? Good, right? But Bob's here, and his wife, as you know, Dana, she's on the board. And she's much younger than him, so he wanted to come tonight with her. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice when you have a husband that will travel with you to the board, and he's a big shot, too? And he's a great guy. He's been my friend for a long time. So I'd like to ask, if I might, Secretary Rubio, and followed by, we're going to ask Sergio to say a couple of words, and then Rick Grinnell, and we'll have a little fun tonight. And you know what they can do? If they can, relatively quietly, they can start serving the meal. So by the time we're all finished, we get the hell out of here, we go home, and we have our board all formed, and we can start doing that quietly. And so, Marco, please come up and say a few words. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. It's an unusual day. You know, it's not often you wake up in the morning and your first meeting is with the Pope and your last meeting is a dinner with the President of the United States. That's a heck of a day. But it actually is an honor to be a part of this administration, Mr. President. It's actually a very unique situation. I don't know how many of you got to see the President's speech in Saudi Arabia. I think it will go down as one of the most profound foreign policy speeches in American history. And where it outlined a vision for the future and a vision of prosperity. And I tell people, we have a president of peace.
Drop a 1 in the chat if you want to listen to Rubio. Drop a 2 in the chat if you want to move forward with Coffee with Hooligans.
You know, it's very unusual for us. It's, you know, we have an American president that wants peace, and it's some of the Europeans that are constantly talking about doing war stuff. So it's kind of the world's upside down in their mind right now. It's usually the other way around. And it's a great honor to work for a president who literally spends half his day, maybe more, trying to stop wars, end wars, prevent wars. And it's an extraordinary thing to be a part of, and thank you for your leadership on that front. He's a key part of the speech he gave, and I just summarize it this way. Our president is a builder, not a bomber. He wants to make things. He wants to build things. He wants people to have prosperity and to be happy. And frankly, he knows we have to have national defense because, of course, that's the world we live in. But I think one of the things that troubles him deeply is how much money has to be spent on some of his military and war, because it's just the way the nature of the world is. He'd much rather be spending growing the economy and doing the deals that we've seen, and he's trying to convince other countries of that as well. It's an honor to be a part of this tonight for a few moments, because you have an opportunity here. You know, the Kennedy Center is a showcase of American excellence in arts and culture, and that's what it needs to be again. And the work that Rick and his team are doing, both to bring the building and the actual function of the organization to reflect that, but the programming is the other thing we're really excited to see, the programming, the shows that are coming, that will be a highlight of American excellence and of American culture and American entertainment. And just so you know the influence that American culture has around the world in a positive way, a few months ago, the President hosted the Prime Minister of Italy down in Florida, and her English is excellent, very good English. And I asked her, why is your English so good? How it was really good. You know what she said? You know where she learned English? Michael Jackson. Not from him, not like personally, he wasn't doing the lessons, from his music. But what it tells you is the impact that American culture has on the world in such a positive way, and it can have such an influence. And the Kennedy Center is a showcase for it. So we're excited to see what you're leading here, and all of you contributing towards that. And we're excited to see also the restoration of that building. That really should be a showcase and something that we're proud of. That when people come to Washington, when people come to America, they want to see the shows that reflect the greatness of our culture and society, and in a building run by an organization that is reflective of excellence as well. So it's an honor to be here tonight. I want to thank all of you for contributing to this, because it's important that this board and everyone that's involved in it, and Rick and his team, are doing a great job of making sure that your dollars and everything you've made possible will be well spent, so we'll have a treasure in our hands for future generations. I think, Sergio, you want to come up here now and tell us about Sergio Gore for personnel.
All right, hooligans, we're going to move forward here. I don't know who that guy is, but that's okay. That's President Trump doing the thing. Everybody was commenting, saying that President Trump was tired looking, and commenting about his hair being a little disheveled. Some were suspecting maybe he got a little sexy time. That's why his hair was like that. I hope so. You know, even the president deserves to get laid every now and then. Throwing down some of that presidential treatment. Anyways, like I said, last little bit of the news is coming up. We got Lefties losing it, and this one's titled Curious Timing of Biden's Cancer Diagnosis. We're just going to hop right into this, and then we'll be getting into the fun stuff. All right, hooligans, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommentTube, and let's get into this.
And it's time for Lefties losing it. Let's start with another celebrity who is determined to trash their own reputation. This one appears to have no qualms about his legacy being damaged with his ignorant, harebrained hate and vitriol. Here is Bruce Springsteen launching into a boring anti-Trump diatribe to an audience who would rather he just sang some of his classic songs.
They're removing residents off American streets and without due process of law are deporting them to foreign detention centers and prisons. This is all happening now. The majority of our elected representatives have failed to protect the American people from the abuses of an unfit president and a rogue government.
He wasn't done yet, though the audience seemed to be thoroughly fed up. You can tell that by the scant applause.
The America that I've sung to you about for 50 years is real. And regardless of its faults, is a great country with great people. So we'll survive this moment.
Look, we can't talk about Bruce Springsteen without featuring his great work during the election campaign, where he appeared at Kamala rallies to belt out the classics.
They'll be carving you up all right. Say you gotta stay hungry. Well, I'm just about starving tonight.
Oh dear.
Little world falling
He looks like Ninja from Die Antwoord.
Even if we're just dancing in the dark.
Now, trust me, that was literally the best bit. I could have been mean and played this.
Working all day in my dad's garage, driving all night, chasing some mirage.
That is grim, but at least old Bruce is sure-footed. Sure, he can't sing anymore, but he can dance. I'll have more celebrities disgracing themselves tomorrow night, but now to the left losing it because the Trump administration is granting refugee status to a few dozen Afrikaners. Of course, white landholders are increasingly fleeing the racial hatred and violence of modern-day South Africa, but MSNBC would prefer them to stay where they are. Here is Donna Edwards.
Well, in my view, what makes it different is that they are white South Africans. The president, in my view, has not hidden his racism behind a bushel. In fact, you know, in his policies, whether it's removing government workers or, in this case, admitting white South Africans while denying refugee status, asylum seekers from other countries.
Disgraceful, and the race baiters are in the churches too. Here is Bishop Sean Rowe.
We can't be ourselves in the Episcopal Church and take the step of resettling white Afrikaners from South Africa. Our church has a long commitment to racial justice and reconciliation, and we have historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa. Desmond Tutu is a part of, been a partner was a partner in this work for us. So we're just not able to take this step. It's not in line with anything that we're about.
And let's have a quick look at what's happening in South Africa. Here is a politician calling for white women, white children, and even their pets to be killed.
If one of us will kill 5 white people, we'll kill their children, we'll kill their women, we'll kill anything.
And here is a politician leading a stadium full of people calling for, and I quote, shoot to kill the boer, kill the farmer. But MSNBC and CNN and the rest of them must have missed all that. If you want to see how loathsome and intolerant these leftists are, then look no further than Ashley Allison, who firstly seems to be quite happy with the discriminatory laws in South Africa, and then she really ramps up the bigotry.
That allowed for a racial reconciliation, one that this country has yet to do, but South Africa did it, and they reformed their constitution, and part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans, and so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also, and so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do, and that is for them to. So if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They're leaving to come here.
No, they can
these
leave
refugees
and go,
are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland, probably. Holland.
Are you
yes.
against them coming here?
I'm against the hypocrisy of this administration.
No, that's not the question. The question is, are you against them coming here?
If there was actually a genocide happening.
So, Afrikaners being murdered in their own farms should flee to where they came from almost 500 years ago. The Dutch settlers, the Afrikaners, first arrived in Africa in 1652. But they need to go back to Holland. But some gangbanger from El Salvador who was in America 5 minutes and entered illegally, well, they've got to be considered American and given all their rights. Let's allow Ashley Allison to finish her asinine point.
I'm not opposed to Venezuelans and South Americans coming to America if they are fleeing and looking for asylum. What I am
just
against,
these 50 people you're
what
against.
I am against, it's not about being against them. What I am against is that they are being given special treatment when there is not a genocide happening in South Africa, and they just don't like the law of the land. So you know what they tell people?
Yes, they don't like the law of the land in South Africa, the ones where their land is seized without compensation. Great point, Ashley. Joining me now is Newsweek's Senior Editor-at-Large and Article 3 Project Senior Counsel, Josh Hammer.
Okay. That's Lefties losing it there. Holy randos. People losing their marbles there. Of course, bitching about South Afrikaners. I don't know why they call them that. I still don't get that. But either way, bitching about them because they're white. If they weren't white, then everybody'd be okay. Because they're white, oh, it's a bad thing. I don't know. So stupid. Either way, that is all the news I have for you hooligans today. We're going to get into the fun stuff. We're going to open today's door of the Advent calendar sent to us by Tori Wayne. And we got we have a funny video of the day and we got a feel-good video of the day. Our feel-good video of the day is titled The Feeling of Validation. That was brought to you by Everything Will Be Okay over on X. And then we got one from Stoner. This is our official funny video of the day titled Hooligans as We Get Older. All of that is coming up next. But first, I want to remind you, hooligans, if you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use the links in the description in order to send donations. You can do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Zelle, Venmo, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Like I said, we're getting into the fun stuff here. Ooh, I got cat hair in my eyeball or something. Either way, we're going to open today's door of the Advent calendar sent to us by Tori Wayne. I guess figure out what day today is because I started the calendar incorrectly. Ignorant me. Let's see what day we're on. I think it's day 6. Yes. So let's see what we get today. All right. Come on. Let's see what we got. Cayenne hot sauce. You think it's hot? It's red. It's the reddest sauce we've had yet. Like I said, cayenne hot sauce. Of course, my camera won't adjust, but that's all right. Look how red it is. And if I can open it, we're going to give her a taste test because I'm just feeling saucy today. We'll see if I can open it. For some reason, these have been secured. Probably for traveling purposes. This one's the easiest one yet. Love that. It was meant to be, so let's give her a try. We're going to get into these funny videos. I'm going to learn to talk all over again. Then we'll be doing the Pledge of Allegiance and all of that. All right, let's get us a nice little spoonful here. This is cayenne, so I assume that... I don't know if we're going to do a whole one. This shit is violent orange. How about that? Is that good? That's about a spoonful. Cheers, hooligans. I can smell this shit, okay? This is going to hurt me. Cheers, hooligans. I think that. Ooh, it's getting there. Oh no, it wasn't that bad. It started off like salsa. It was raping me from the inside. This is not good. Holy shit, Klaus Daniels, where's my warning? What happened? It's hot. It's pretty hot. Now it's hot snooks. All right, well. Thank you, Tori Wayne. I appreciate you. Holy shit, dicks. Okay. Anyways, let's get into the fun stuff while I can still read. It's mean to me. It's not nice. So, Everything Will Be Okay over on X watched our video, I don't know what day it was, Saturday or Friday, where the guy was taking the food out of the wife's selection and handing the piece of produce to her, and she would toss it away like it wasn't good enough. And we were bitching about it. Everything Will Be Okay found the opposite of that. This is titled The Feeling of Validation. Yes. I actually love that video. That's our feel-good video of the day. Do you see a look on his face? That's the real feeling of validation there. Love that. Your wife does that, she's the one. Anyways, moving into our funny video of the day. It's still hurting me. I kind of like that one the best so far. It's hot. It's constantly evolving. You don't get bored with that kind of hot sauce, I'll tell you that. Anyways, getting into our official funny video of the day. This was provided by Stoner. This is titled Hooligans as We Get Older.
That is not my future. I'm not going to be buried in a grave. When I'm dead, just throw me in the trash.
I'm only still here because I'm not as quick as them.
I'm tired of people telling me what I can't do. They say I can't drink on a plane. They say I can't bang on a plane. I say I can't be a pilot. I can't be a doctor. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right in front of your face. I'm going to chug 15 beers right now. Oh, that's so cold.
Everyone's here today because they care about you and they want you to get well.
She ain't funny. Next.
You can't just torture someone because you think they're guilty.
Oh, don't give me that liberal bullshit. If life pushes you down, you gotta push back. If you're dealt a bunch of lemons, you gotta take those lemons and stuff them down somebody's throat.
That's right. It's the hooligan way. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. I wish I could share some of this hot sauce with you because it's nice. It's nice. I don't know if I got Stockholm Syndrome or what, but either way, I'm going to grab this Linktree link really quick. We're going to drop it in all the chats. We're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. That's some holy hot sauce there. I'm sitting here on fire. My eyes are wet. Yes. All right, hooligans, there's a Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, would really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. I'm dying from this hot sauce. The hooligans are there keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience a live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You also have access to Hooligans Alley. Wait a minute. Yeah, which is our private social media area. You'll have access to the forums, to the arcade, and also have access to our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats. So definitely go get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. It's the home of the hooligans. Like I said, we're going to read through really quick, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Tori Wayne, maybe next, let's see, next sauce you try at the beginning of the show, extra challenge points. I don't know. I don't know if I need those problems. I'm sitting here anticipating the struggle of the Pledge of Allegiance. That hot sauce smoked me. That's my favorite one yet. I love it. Russell, he's a funny midget. Yeah. I can't think of that guy's... What is that guy's name? I can't think of what his name is. I'm kind of trying to be cautious touching myself. I'm touching myself. You guys love that, you know? It's just, I can't help it. The hot sauce threw me off my game. Russell, just wait. Tomorrow will be better. Yeah. It'll be okay. Oh, guess some. Eat a wasabi. It makes it go away. I bought wasabi. I bought it. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was you guess some. Somebody told me over the weekend to go get wasabi, and I did. And I don't know why it tastes that way. It tastes not good. It is like, I don't even know what to say. Like sour cabbage tasting, and then it bites you for no fucking reason. Like for no reason. It's like you're eating just out of the trash can, just sour vegetables. And then all of a sudden it just comes up and fucking bites you like a pit bull for no reason. I don't know why they made wasabi like that. It's bad. It's not good on. I don't know. Like, is there something wasabi's good on? Because it wasn't good when I tried it after I bought it. Tori Wayne, the sauce woke up and chose violence today. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Danny DeVito, thank you, Hooligans. Zero, imagine the section with Jeff in a wig. Yeah, I can't wait. I am looking forward to that. Guess I'm Danny the Midget. That's what I was thinking. Kevin Seamus, you love wasabi? Is it the kind that I got? Hold on, I'll be right back. Keep me entertained, Klaus Daniels. Where's this fucking shit at? Don't show him your butthole. It's not that kind of live, buddy. Jesus loves us. You can't take this cat anywhere. This is what I got. Okay, let me get my fingers out the way. This is what I got. This is wasabi from Walmart for $2. I'm telling you, it's not good. Ugh, God, it smells terrible. It's like rotten. What is that stuff that only white people eat? Coleslaw. It's like rotten coleslaw. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna try a little bit, just cause. See, it looks like grossness. It tastes like grossness. I can't feel the bite though. Ha ha ha. The hot sauce is so hot there ain't no bite on the wasabi. Ha 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 ha. Still tastes like sour fucking coleslaw though. I don't get that. It's not good. Russell, kimchi is horrible. What is that? I don't want to eat all the horrible stuff. That's not what I want to sign up for, but I will have to Google it. That wasabi is not good. It's not good. Sour coleslaw. Was that what it's made out of? Because it ain't good. It ain't good. I don't know who tasted that. I was like, put this in a bottle. Who? Anyways, reading through. Guess you're supposed to put it in your eye first. It changes the taste. Yeah, I believe you. Kev Seamus, kimchi is pickle coleslaw. What is this? What is wasabi then? Snook, sounds like me. I just bite for no reason. You're mean. I'll love you too, guess. Thank you so much, Cricket Kiss, for that $10 donation over on Rumble. I really appreciate you, Cricket Kiss. Thank you so much for the support. Says, buy a jar of peanut butter. I will. I will. Of course, you don't want to know what they were talking about on the website about peanut butter. There's some nasty hooligans over there. There will not be any suspicious activity with the peanut butter. Thank you, Cricket Kiss. Pumpkin tacos with Spam. Just ruin my life, Pumpkin. Okay, just ruin my whole life. Tacos with Spam. That's blasphemous. You hear this, Costanus? It's crazy. It's crazy. Could you imagine tacos with Spam? Huh? That's cat food. Right, tacos you could eat. You're funny. He's over here doing Pilates. Shroomish. It's an acquired taste for sure, like horseradish sauce. Yeah, I've never had that either. Sage Pup, oh my god, he really put it in his mouth. That's what she said last night. Couldn't pass that by. I know it's not Saturday, but, you know, come on now. Thank you for being here, Rappy. I appreciate you. Bill Clay, you're supposed to eat a little wasabi at a time. It's good with sushi. I will try it next time I get some sushi. It's going to be a while. Last time I went to get Chinese food, it was like $50 for 2 people to eat the buffet. I remember when it used to be $7 to eat the buffet. Now it's $25. Why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Next time I eat sushi, I'll try some wasabi on it. Plastic Quack, clip it. I'm touching myself. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back through and cut this live up into some shorts. Thank you, Pumpkin. You're the bestest. Appreciate you being here, MU. Shroomish, I only eat horseradish sauce. Is that what it is? Horseradish, yeah. Sauce on an Arby's beef and cheddar. I've only been to Arby's once, and it was so damn expensive. I can't imagine it's much cheaper, but I do want to try that. DEFCON, don't forget the Pepto. Nah, Pepto doesn't work on me. I don't know what's wrong with my stomach, but Pepto just doesn't help me. I have to just drink baking soda water. It's the only thing that'll touch it. Any kind of fire I got. Zero, the Biden inflation. Yeah, for real. That's what happened to the Chinese food. Guess I'm the sushi tariffs. Damn those tariffs. Mm-hmm. Shroomish. Arby's is pricey. Yeah, that's what. I mean, I'm poor. Okay, I'm just a poor hooligan. Poverty-stricken hooligan. Meta, snort it. No, what? What are you advocating for? Meta, you'll validate me? Well, you're the bestest. Meta, I haven't tried it yet. It's sitting right here. I'm sure it'll work. I just got to call and activate it, and it'll be good to go. I'm not going to snort the wasabi, though. That's not right. That's what liberals do. What's up, Rad? Happy freedom to you. Southern Eagleman will open up your sinuses. Yeah, and then your butthole. That's how it goes with hot stuff. It's fun like that. Corey Luca, NPR Music or tax dollars, Pinky Pony Club Live. I'm going to have to like type in the whole sentence because if I just type in that last little bit, I'm scared of what I'll find. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I will look into this. The images that pop up is crazy. Thank you for letting me know, Corey Luca. Magic Moon wasabi and Japanese sushi. I don't be eating sushi that's got fish on it, though. I only eat vegetable sushi. Hopefully, that doesn't make a difference. What's up, Ray of Gamma? Happy freedom. What's up, Lone Wolf? Happy freedom to you. Teasel suppository. No, it's not. It's funny because I was looking for that word the other day, but no, that's not what you do with the wasabi. All right, let's see. What is this? Tori Wayne, my job is done then. Yes, fantastic job. All right, hooligans, it is that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we did the thing. We're going to read through one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind, but we are wrapping this up. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Trying to think what else there is. We got to figure out how to do the raid. You guys got to remind me on Rumble because we're going to raid out the chat to Rotella Streams if they are live. They were live. Hopefully they're still live. I think they might be. Let me see. Yeah, I think they're still live. So we're going to raid out the stream to them. We got to figure out how to do it. Definitely go check out jeffmaclive.com. We now have a free membership that will allow you to have your own profile, your own timeline, and you'll have access to the forums. Of course, I encourage you to get a paid membership to get the full experience of the website, but definitely go check it out. I've been working on the website for the last couple of weeks, making improvements. The notification system is badass. It's working, which is good. We will have a new merch store over on the website, which is going to have new items, better prices, better shipping and handling. And we might have exclusive designs. It may end up replacing our current merch store. We'll see how that goes. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Either way, we're going to read through the chat and we're wrapping her up. Guess these are your wise words for the day. Be safe, be happy, don't masturbate with a cactus. That's right. That's right. Wise words from Get Some. I appreciate you, Get Some. Hey, thank you for being here, Roy. All right, let me figure out how to do this raid. We'll do it really quick, like. I think we do this, and then we grab this, then we grab this.
Man, what do you mean that there's no...
Okay, now I don't know who this guy is, but he was suggested in the chat. So I want you guys to give him a happy freedom hello when you guys get there. I think this is how you do it. Let me see if this works. There it goes. Okay, we did the thing. We did the thing. Bam, confirming raid. Go say happy freedom to this guy. Let him know we let freedom fly around here. All right, we're going to read through and we're going to continue wrapping this up. What's up, Zeus Boot? Happy freedom. Appreciate you being here. Definitely enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, I appreciate you, Meta. Enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate you, Tony Rich. Yes, Southern Eagleman. Been trying to raid her for years. Appreciate you, T. Lawton. Thank you for being here with us. Magic Moon, with wasabi work for a chili recipe? I wouldn't recommend it. It's got a vegetable taste to it. Look at all of you hooligans. Hold up. Hold on. Let's see what's going on here.
You inside the chat? Anyone else? Let's see. Who else? We got DEFCON, we got Toll, we got Kick, Cricket Kiss, Ghostly Method. Very nice. We got Jay, who's already been in here, Ballyho Jay. We got Giggling Spy. You would think that they would be better at their job, but they're not, because you can always hear them coming because they're laughing. Thank you, Tori, for the follow. I appreciate that. Cricket Kiss says hugs. And Hayes peeps. We want to welcome DEFCON, hitting that follow button. Ballyho DEFCON, that's awesome. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you. Smooth Shroom.
That is badass. You hooligans are the best. Love that. I love the shit out of that. Fantastic. You guys are fantastic. So badass. So that's Rotella Streams there. I like his outfit. He's styling for sure. All right, reading through and we're wrapping her up. You guys are the bestest. Have a good night, Bloopy. Thank you for being here. Magic Moon. Yeah, it's got a vegetable taste to it. I don't think it'd be good for chili. Yeah, Tory Win, I'm so excited for it. All right, you hooligans. Thank you guys for being here and covering the news and having some laughs with me, trying some hot sauce and some wasabi. The wasabi's kind of whatever. But either way, I appreciate all of you guys. Go find some good food. I'm going to try and do the same. Enjoy the rest of your night, and make sure you find us tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.